wait any longer. Let's get the night underway.
Give it up one time. One time for J-Rock Daddy.
Pre-show action about ready to get underway here on the IWC No Season 5 DVD at ringside. I am Joe Dombrowski, joined by my new broadcast colleague, Mr. T.H. Cruiser. Sir, welcome to the International Wrestling Cartel.
Thank you, Dombrowski, and that'll be enough out of you. You just sit there and look pretty all night, all right? What you have in the ring right now is J-Rock, the big daddy of destruction. You realize J-Rock has been everywhere, wrestled everyone, and beat them all.
He's an 11-year veteran. He's raised a lot of terror in IWC, former co-holder of the Tag Team Championship, set to face a young, inspirational athlete making his IWC debut.
His opponent is making his IWC debut. He weighs in at 167 pounds, Gregory.
He is the handicapped hero and the crippled crusader. Gregory Iron was born with a mild form of cerebral palsy that affects the movement in his left hand and arm. Or rather, his right hand and arm.
I don't believe it. It's a gimmick. It's the work.
Gregory Iron has survived so much hardship in his life, from an abusive and broken home to a near-fatal concussion early in his career. But what does not kill Gregory Iron makes him stronger, and now he comes to one of the biggest pinnacles of his career, the International Wrestling Cartel, hoping to impress on an entirely new level.
And look, I appreciate, a handicapped athlete. We've seen great handicapped athletes, from time to time succeed in major sports. But the bottom line is Gregory Irons is faking this. This is just a ploy to get on the show.
I don't think
Be
that's
honest,
true at all.
Dombrowski.
I've known Mr. Irons for a number of years now, and his story is truly very touching. It's truly very inspirational, and Gregory Iron has served as a role model for a lot of underprivileged and handicapped young individuals.
I just think it's a poor example set whenever you're going to use someone else's handicap and gimmick it to get over with the fans.
And what about the poor example J-Rock set over the past number of years here in IWC as the bell sounds, the match is underway? We've seen J-Rock turn his back on his best friend, Rowe. We've seen him cause a lot of chaos here over a lot of years.
And he's just honest. See, at least J-Rock's being honest. J-Rock is all about the money, baby. And he's just honest about that. Whether if you got to turn on your grandmother for a proper paycheck, you turn on grandma.
Now look at J-Rock mocking Gregory Iron, the handshake, clapping of the hands, 2 thumbs up. J-Rock's biggest mistake in this matchup could be underestimating Gregory Iron. Many a man has done that before, and they've paid dearly with a loss in the record book.
J-Rock is just trying to show you exactly what I'm saying. He's hoping that Gregory Irons is going to, have a slip of the mind and give a thumbs up, so everybody will know what a faker he is.
Iron is 5'5", 165 pounds. Certainly very undersized compared to J-Rock, who's about 240 or 50, I believe. And you see that power early on by the big daddy of destruction with a high back body drop. And Mr. Bruiser, I'm assuming you're about to give it up one time for J-Rock.
Oh, I'm definitely going to give it up, and I'm going to give it up more throughout this match. And if you listen to this capacity crowd, they're giving it up for J-Rock too. They know Irons is full of it.
I see. Well, Gregory Iron now back into the ropes for the ride now. The veteran J-Rock sends Iron. Iron goes up and over, tries to keep the momentum going, and up and down with a sideline head scissors. Gregory Iron has some fire now, charging into the corner as well. Monkey flip coming up.
He just pulled his hair.
What?
Dombrowski just pulled his hair. Did you not see that?
Excuse me? Iron gets ahead of steam now, into the opposite corner, but J-Rock able to have it scouted. And J-Rock is a very hard striker. He packs a lot of power in that frame.
That he does. And I don't know how many of those blows Iron's small frame is going to be able to take, and he just proves me right.
Beautiful Hurricane Run into the 2-0, says referee Stephen Coulter. Iron using the left hand. Of course, we mentioned the right hand afflicted by cerebral palsy. But certainly, with a man with the affliction that Iron has, you have to give it up for him for being in tremendous strength and having a lot of musculature and cardiovascular conditioning.
Okay, look, if we're going to agree that this injury is not
hell of a powerbomb.
Is not fake, which I don't believe it's not fake. I think it's fake as the day is long. But I'll give it to him if he's truly injured. Then I'll give it up to him, to J-Rock, that is, for just putting him on his back.
Certainly, you're not wasting any time, Mr. Bruiser, I see, as could be a long evening here at No Excuses 5, but we're not even officially underway yet. The legends of professional wrestling are here, and certainly so much more on tap in this broadcast. And J-Rock
telling a front row audience member exactly what he thinks. All right, there you go.
J-Rock has never done much to endear himself to the Pittsburgh crowd.
And why should he? This entire crowd is full of unemployment check collecting, quick check cashing jerks.
Well, at least you speak your mind.
Hey, I'm paid to say what's on my mind. I can't help it that these people are scum.
Certainly the Cleveland-Pittsburgh dynamic between J-Rock and this crowd is a factor as well. Vertical suplex coming up.
I don't like Cleveland either, son. Oh. I'm a New York guy, son. I could care less about Cleveland.
Check out the hang time from J-Rock Daddy. Muscles iron up, all the blood rushing to the brain of Gregory Iron. Now the lateral press, but J-Rock did not hook a leg. That could be a mistake.
I'm going to give Iron the smallest and only bit of credit I'm going to give. I can't believe he kicked out of that. That vertical suplex was textbook. 100% perfect.
Can never question or discredit the heart of Iron, the determination, the focus he has to live his dream as a professional wrestler. Into the ropes, and J-Rock hooks in the abdominal stretch, and this will tear away at the intercostal cartilage in between the ribs of Gregory Iron.
That will, if you notice, it's the arm that is affected, as you say, and I repeat, as you say, by cerebral palsy.
And notice as well the handful of tights and the hand on the rope.
Hey,
very illegal additional leverage.
Small advantage. Any advantage in a match like this, where, you know, they're out here opening the card. They're out here to get this crowd pumped up for it.
But check out Iron! A roll-up out of nowhere! 2.5. Gregory Iron almost shocks the world, almost defeats an 11-year veteran and former tag team champion.
J-Rock could have kicked out of that at half a count. He's letting this kid feel good about himself. It's called like the rope-a-dope. You lower him in, you get a false sense of security, and then you take him out, which you're about to see right now. As J-Rock's back in control, easy.
J-Rock is using that power advantage. Iron has to hit and run. He has to strike quickly.
5 minutes.
He has to keep the tempo fast if he has a hope here. But J-Rock is very expertly grounding and manipulating the tempo of this match.
If J-Rock's a ring veteran, he knows that somebody smaller and lighter than him is probably going to have a stamina advantage. The way you take out a stamina advantage is you make Irons work for every breath.
Elbow from the second turnbuckle, nobody home. J-Rock took too much time, and Gregory Iron has the opportunity now to perhaps create a turning point, to create some momentum. And
J-Rock nursing some kind of injury there on his arm.
And certainly J-Rock injuring himself further.
I believe J-Rock injured whenever he clotheslined Irons a few minutes ago in this match. Apparently sacrificing his own arm to try to hurt Irons.
Maybe some kind of a forearm injury, not really sure right now. Huge spine buster.
That has to be it.
That's a J-Rock specialty. And now J-Rock signaling for the one-hitter quitter, his variation of the Death Valley Driver.
What J-Rock needs to do is quit listening to this dirt, this scum of Pittsburgh, and hit the move.
J-Rock has Iron measured. Oh, no, Iron battles free. And J-Rock again favoring the arm as he punishes Gregory Iron for the ride here. One-hitter quitter again. No, Iron, roll up, 2. He did it! Gregory Iron wins in his IWC debut. And if we can get a shot in the face of J-Rock right now, the shock, the
Or 2 handfuls of tights, Dombrowski.
J-Rock underestimated Gregory Iron and paid for it with a loss. The most inspirational athlete in professional wrestling today scores his first victory as a member of the IWC roster.
It's a cheater.
More action still to come. J-Rock's in disbelief. Gregory Iron living his dream. He's victorious.
Well, in all honesty, what happened to CJ Sensation back, I believe that was in September, whenever Bubba slapped him in the face and fired him from IWC, needed to happen. And the reason I say it needed to happen is CJ was going down the road and trying to please the scum of fan in Pittsburgh. He was, you know, gimmicking up the Miley Cyrus and, oh, I love this, and I'm a teeny bopper. And that's not who CJ Sensation is.
Well, I can agree with that. When I look at CJ Sensation, I do not think teeny bopper. Lewis Linden quickens the pace, a little martial arts here. Linden now gets ahead of steam. Very agile young man, very quick. Pair of arm drags lightning fast by Lewis Linden and a standoff with Linden and Sensation. Now we've talked many times about Sensation's loyalties and lack thereof towards promoter Norm Connors. Got to touch on a moment about Norm Connors announcing officially publicly, nice work from by Linden, that Norm Connors is stepping down as promoter of this organization at the end of the year. IWC will live on, but Norm Connors, a 16-year veteran in this business, will step aside, and should be interesting to see how the next 4 months play out leading into that, and how the future of IWC will be affected.
I absolutely agree. NCon, as I affectionately refer to him, has always been one of those promoters that does big things. Brings big things to wrestling. Bring big
Cover in the ring right now. Count of 2.
And why he brings big things to this area, I'll have no idea. But still, he brought Ric Flair here, Matt Hardy, Christian. The list goes on and on of the who's who of wrestling. And you know, it's going to be sad to see him go. And I might put a bid in myself for my IWC. You never know.
CJ Sensation, nice back body drop on Linden. Also the important note that NCon touched on earlier on, as we have a cover in the ring for 2, is that the bounty he had placed on the head of Jimmy DeMarco has been lifted. And Norm, while he does not agree with Jimmy DeMarco, and certainly there's a lot of things in the world that don't agree with Jimmy DeMarco, but doing what's best for business and best for the situation here, and lifting the bounty on the delicious one.
I think Norm Connors is going to have a slight problem in his midst. He lifted the bounty officially now.
Another cover here, 2 count.
After Ray Rowe is accepted to take the bounty. So when Ray Rowe beats Jimmy DeMarco tonight, when Ray Rowe puts Jimmy DeMarco out of wrestling, I think Ray Rowe's going to be expecting some type of check.
Well, we will see how that develops throughout the course of this broadcast. It's Rowe and DeMarco later tonight, and right now it's CJ Sensation trying to neutralize Lewis Linden.
Again, veteran maneuver, just like we saw in the last match. CJ slowing down the pace. Surprisingly, I don't know if you've been listening to this crowd, but surprisingly, CJ is actually getting a favorable response on the most part from this crowd. And I really don't understand why, as he walked out screaming at them and cursing at them.
Well, I don't know about all that, but there's a Kung Fu chop by Lewis Linden, a Linden specialty, as he now begins to open up with the martial art. The double-handed chop, steamboat style by Lewis Linden. Didn't have the weight position properly for the slam, and CJ Sensation able to recover. Watch Linden, however, Briggs off the top. Great agility, wait for the clothesline, backslide to Lewis Linden, a second IWC debut leading to victory.
I'm in shock.
Here is your winner, Lewis Linden.
Lewis Linden picks up the victory over an able veteran, much like we saw with Gregory Iron. Lewis Linden does much the same. It seems like IWC has some very talented new blood on the horizon. Decorated tag dynasties in IWC history. Eric Xtasy and Justin Idol in recent times were part of the what Encon Norm Connors called old guard of IWC. He thought they were passé, but Justin Eric certainly out to prove that anything can be further from the truth, especially after Idol's remarkable performance in Super Indy 8.
In Super Indy, Justin Idol absolutely tore the house down. And it was honestly a crime that he did not, win that Super Indy title. I mean, he was an MVP throughout that tournament until being eliminated.
Idol and Hentai survived in the longest and largest Super Indy tournament in company history to make it to the very finals. But right now, a tag team together for the very first time. IWC in the past. We've seen Fontaine a couple of times as well. Fontaine most notably recently associated with Joey Magnum Ryan, but right now, a new partner in Kato.
I'm interested to see what this new duo can do, as this is their first time tagging together in IWC. This is the real deal DH Bruce Dombrowski. I want to say it's a pleasure to finally get to work with you. After commentating separate events numerous times, we finally get to sit at this table together and probably disagree all night. But that's neither here nor there. This is going to be one heck of a tag team match to open the card up.
Certainly it shall be four very capable young athletes. And we're going to touch on a number of issues in this matchup, including the Norm Connors announcement earlier on at the top of this live event here, stepping down as promoter of IWC at the end of the year. The final 4 months of Encon's reign takes place starting here tonight. You got to wonder, as we mentioned during the pre-show, how the dynamic is going to change of IWC, how the roster is going to change, how the feel is going to change, leading into a post-Norm world. And
I think everything is definitely up in the air. Rosters, champions, the whole nine. And I think this is the time to shine. As prospective buyers are looking at purchasing IWC, if IWC has not already been purchased, which Norm has not told anybody that information yet. So Marion, Fontaine, and Cato right here could put themselves right in the title picture with a win over sexual harassment, theoretically.
Indeed they could. Eric Xtasy, a former IWC heavyweight champion, former co-holder of the tag team championship on multiple occasions.
And ever since bringing Justin Idol into the fold, I mean, just multiple tag team runs, these two have been something of an enigma. It was something of a mystery force. Even though Justin Idol doesn't completely agree with the bisexual bulldoger's behavior at all times,
correct,
they definitely gel better as a team than 90% of the tag teams in wrestling.
They certainly have found that balance, that mix over the months, and certainly function better than one would surmise Cato and Fontaine would in this matchup. Cato, another very able young veteran, captured several regional championships throughout the area, mainly in central Pennsylvania, and certainly hoping to make it big here in IWC, get a full-time roster spot, but easier said than done. We've seen already in just our pre-show a lot of young athletes, Gregory Iron, Linden, who have really cemented their status as young players here in this organization, and Cato and Fontaine looking to do the same.
Well, Fontaine has something that most of these others don't, and that's the female audience behind it. You hear these ladies going crazy for Marion Fontaine.
Not so much. He also has a mustache.
He does. I did see him earlier. Most of the other wrestlers were, selling T-shirts, meeting their fans. He had the sign about a mustache ride, and there was no one in line.
I see. Cato and Eric Xtasy feeling each other out, center of the ring, and attempted a test of strength, never gets out of the blocks thanks to Cato, and a very blonde Bobby Williams is warning Cato of the infraction.
A very blonde Bobby Williams. And Cato's going to do anything he can. We've seen Cato numerous times in the past. Cato has no problem taking a shortcut. None.
Eric Xtasy Reverse the momentum, but Kato puts the brakes on. What the hell? The Rockettes.
Is this wrestling or Broadway?
I think somewhere in between. And Marion Fontaine is advising Kato to not dance in line with his opponents. One would think that would have been the first day of wrestling. Kato, looking at her head of steam, finally finds it, but runs into a bisexual bulldozer, a very suggestive lateral press, and a very suggestive reversal.
I'm not even going to call this.
All I can say, there's only one thing to say here. Poor Justin Idol watching this.
If you look at the look on Idol's face, he's even in disbelief.
I think Idol thought we had advanced past the stage.
I don't know if you've noticed, but Xtasy had two handfuls of ass.
Was trying not to notice that, but thank you.
How could you not notice it?
I think Eric's ready for more. I'm hoping that's the amateur wrestling stance he was in.
Not so much.
And if not, we're going to pretend it was.
I believe in adult videos they call that something else.
No, we're not going to endeavor further into that. Justin Idol will be tagged in, and one would surmise this matchup will take a huge transition in another direction.
The technical wrestler of the group, Justin Idol.
But then we got Marion Fontaine with that ridiculous ascot or whatever you call it around his neck.
He actually calls that a mustache distractor. He thinks that the mustache holds so much power that he needs to pull some vision away from it.
He almost got hit in his mustache.
Well, that would just be mustache abuse. That's not right.
Oh. Fontaine a little too proud of the pie face action. Idol going to take over. Idol was something to prove in this contest. He came so close to Super Indy Championship glory after 10 years of being underrated and underutilized in the tri-state area, but felt it slip through his fingers. Just imagine what it's like to work so many months but come up so close. That's what Justin Idol has been dealing with right now, and that's what's on his mind right in this moment. Cover for a 2 count, but also just the same, Idol and Eric would love to get back in the tag title hunt as well. Certainly they feel current reigning champions Irish Airborne are very undeserving of the titles they currently hold.
Well, let's be honest, that Irish Airborne was helped by Encom, and I'm all for that, as I think Irish Airborne are one of the most talented tag teams in wrestling today. But Eric and Justin right now have one choice and one choice only, and that's to make something of this tag team, as that is the only opportunity being given to them. If you notice, Johnny Gargano is getting the shot at Hentai, not Justin Idol. Therefore, Justin can win tag team gold and go back on at least some mountain, or he can fade back into the mask. And I think Justin's smart enough to realize which one's going to be better.
Keep in mind, Norm Connor's Encon originally gave Idol a Super Indy tournament berth to attempt to drive a wedge in the sexual harassment team, but didn't work, nothing doing. Low drop kick by Justin Idol. Fontaine to the outside, and Kato means business.
The straps come down, someone's about to feel pain.
The old look up routine?
I don't know.
And Kato's very confused. Oh,
Unfortunately, it's Kato.
Farnsworth, wherever you are, he just got hit in the mommy daddy button. And a bushwhacker battering ram to Kato, or if Lord Alfred Hayes were here, it would be Kato.
That's called the idealistic bulldozer.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is.
And this is the Rose Creeper, and it could mean the end of the matchup. But Marion Fontaine has something to say about it. And Harassment collide in the corner.
If Kato and Fontaine are going to have a chance to win this match, they need to do it right now and take advantage and capitalize right now while Justin Idol is on the outside.
Kato hits the DDT. And check out Kato, the tattoo on his back of his own name. Just in case he forgets.
He's kissing Eric Xtasy.
Is he? I believe that's a bite.
I can't see from
Where's your mind at right now, sir?
Well, with everything else going on in this match, what do you expect me to think?
You're almost as bad as Farnsworth. Kato measures Eric with the fist, and you see the inexperience of Kato and Fontaine trying to work out some double teaming on the fly.
They're speaking their own language, it seems like, because I couldn't understand anything they said. There were some weird hand gestures, some mustache gesturing. I have no idea what's going on.
I think that's some kind of nervous twitching.
5 minutes on by 5 minutes.
5 minutes deep, and it's Marion Fontaine in control. And Fontaine, what? Fontaine drives all of his weight down onto Eric Xtasy. I don't believe I want to say what Fontaine referred to that as.
He called it a teabag. But what I'm going to say is this. I understand trying to hurt your opponent at all costs, but that ain't worth it.
Well, there is certainly some risk involved in a,
Lipton. We'll call it a Lipton.
a taint-based attack.
I can't believe you just called a taint-based attack.
Neither do I. Fontaine, however, innovative offense with the legs as well. The kicks get a near fall situation. Fontaine is not trained for power. He's not trained for strength. He trains much for endurance and speed, and it works for him. He does not look a lot like a lot on the surface, just first glance, but you see him wrestle and you realize he's a very, very capable athlete.
Well, actually, Marion Fontaine just did a 2-week stint at an anorexic camp. And not by choice. They picked him up on the side of the street because they thought he was Ethiopian.
I see.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
I scooped you, Dombrowski.
You got some sources.
I do.
Cato, smart veteran instincts to keep Eric Xtasy in the wrong part of town, cutting off the ring at its hypotenuse. And then you see the distraction of referee Williams leading to Fontaine with the illegal choke.
And Bobby Taylor.
Well, look at Justin Idol.
Bobby Williams was carrying Justin Idol. That can't be legal.
Well, gotta keep Idol out of the ring somehow. And
Big elbow to the back of the head by Kato there. Eric Xtasy's in trouble.
Kato wrestling his style of matchup right now, and back to the biting once again. I don't think even Eric's into that stuff.
You never know.
But that's very true as well.
We didn't think Eric was into a lot of stuff, and we've learned everything.
Well, all bets are off when it's Eric Xtasy involved. And Marion Fontaine instructing Kato to head to the top, or perhaps the second turnbuckle. There it comes. But Eric gets the foot up.
You know what? I am okay.
He's okay. That's good news. He's fine. Oh, no. No, people.
I've seen more low blows in this match than you've seen in any episode of Funniest Home Videos. Period.
Eric, no, he's not. No, I don't think anyone in the building is good right now. This is not. Bobby Williams with the obligatory 10 count. Crowd behind Eric Xtasy in this instance. Marion Fontaine gets the tag of Justin Idol, the legal man finally now as well. And Idol, the aerial icon, the Super Indy runner-up, ready to unload on the megastar Marion Fontaine. Pace quickens. It's Idol's element. Beautiful drop kick.
And Kato there ducks. And another blow to the nether region.
Well, he will be nice and call that the tailbone. I believe
he was pretty deep.
I think Kato caught it the tailbone. Fontaine caught it somewhere else. Idol, head of steam. Double drop kick, 1 foot for each man. Eric Xtasy in to lend some help as well.
The referee's losing control of this right now. He needs to get Eric Xtasy out of the ring.
Oh, he absolutely does, but
I mean, it's impossible for Kato and Fontaine to double team if he's letting Eric Xtasy in the ring.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Punch attack in the corner. Follow through. The meeting of the mind, center of the ring. The smaller Fontaine got taken. Oh, wait a second, miscue. Xtasy accidentally speared Idol. There's those veteran instincts of Kato and a low bridge to the bisexual bulldozer. Kato twisting implant DDT. Very nicely done.
Fontaine going up. This match is over, baby.
The megastar all the way up top. Frog splash.
That's the Fontaine frog splash.
And it was almost a count of 3.
The referee needs his eye. That was a 3 count.
Referee says 2 and change, and this matchup's still alive. Fontaine to the outside, and Kato now left back in the ring with Eric Xtasy. We're going to see here, not the usual harassment double team. And Kato counters and drops down into a guillotine choke. Idol adjusts, but Fontaine cuts him off.
Are we calling Fontaine spearing somebody? Because I really don't believe that just happened.
Kato with a counter of whatever Eric was going for, a front guillotine choke with a body scissors. Very nicely done by the veteran. And Eric may be out here. If this arm drops 3 times, it's over. We got 2, and is it? No.
I don't believe it.
Eric is still off.
Kato calls this move the Kato Kushin, and this should be it.
And Idol, whammy kablammy, right to the temple of Kato.
Where is Fontaine? There's Fontaine.
Fontaine got taken out on the outside, and sexual harassment left in the ring 2-on-1 with Kato. Mid-ring collision. Kato lands awkwardly, and it may only get worse from here. Double team. A sexual harassment bulldog.
And that could be it, but Fontaine's sneaking into the ring there.
Shades of the Steiners, but Fontaine interrupts.
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
Eric might be going for a kiss, but Fontaine countered. Yes, I said that.
Drop toe hold now by Fontaine.
Fontaine has a beautiful in-ring moonsault, the K-Brana, but Fontaine not feeling the beauty right now as Idol gets the knees up.
Fontaine in trouble here as Eric Xtasy is starting to come too.
Here's step 1 of the Rose Creeper, the STD position. Oh no, that's another position. Kato got it on the lips and got knocked down by Fontaine's body. Rose Creeper coming up. Down goes Fontaine into the cover, and Harassment pick up the victory.
That was one heck of a match. I'll give it to Sexual Harassment.
Here are your winners, Sexual Harassment.
After a close call by Justin Idol at Super Indy 8, Idol goes back to his chosen career path of record, that being the tag team ranks, as Eric Xtasy and no! Unnecessary thrusting on the play, no.
You like that, didn't you, Dumbrowski?
Not so much. But Eric certainly lives his life very openly and freely, and tonight it led to a victory for Sexual Harassment. A message to Irish Airborne, a message to any detractors. Sexual Harassment are as close, as tight as ever before, and they're looking to get back on top of the tag team mountain. Spent 6 months on the shelf.
The challenger and one-time champion. Hails from Linden, Ohio. Weighs in at 215 pounds. Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano captured the Super Indy Championship in controversial fashion this past fall, but had to forfeit it due to a hairline fracture of his lumbar vertebrae that kept him out of action and out of IWC for over 6 months. However, after Super Hentai made history and won Super Indy 8, Johnny Gargano re-emerged on the scene at the behest of promoter Norm Connors, and Norm claimed Gargano was still the champion and that Hentai didn't deserve to be on top of the mountain again. As a result, this matchup has been made tonight.
Answer one question, Dombrowski. Was Gargano ever pinned for the title?
He did not.
Therefore, he is still the champion, correct?
Well, he did not fulfill his mandatory 90-day title defense, so absolutely not.
You're speaking in technicalities now. Technically, no one beat Johnny Gargano for the title.
That's true.
So therefore, the belt that Super Hentai is carrying and the championship reign that he is defending is not his.
One would question Mr. Gargano beat himself by striking himself down with an injury. Gargano does not seem impressed by the man we're about to be introduced to, the Super Indy Innovator and 2-time tournament champion.
And here's our opponent. He's the Super Indy Tournament champion. Weighs in at 190 pounds. Super Hentai.
Super Hentai was the man in March of 2002 that put Super Indy on the map when he defeated the fallen angel Christopher Daniels in the finals of Super Indy 1, reigned as champion for 51 weeks, including an extended tour of Japan, where Hentai defended the championship overseas. Hentai was the man who brought Super Indy back when Norm Connors wanted to shelve it. Hentai didn't want to see something he worked so hard to build just fall to the shelf to collect dust. And Hentai was the man who survived the biggest and most competitive tournament in history, defying the odds to become the only two-time winner and champion and to come full circle. But Hentai's celebration at the end of that night, at the end of a night 7 years in the making, was tarnished forever by Norm Connors bringing back Johnny Gargano. Hentai revenge, Hentai's politics led to Gargano being put back into the championship frame very unfairly after several months out of the spotlight.
No one can doubt the talent of Super Hentai. No, I'm not even going to sit here. I don't like the guy, I'll be honest. But I'm not going to doubt his talent. But the bottom line is if the champion was never beat, he's still the champion. If you look in other realms of sports, if you look at UFC, Randy Couture left with the world title. When he came back, he was still world champion. They actually started calling the person they crowned interim world champion. Therefore, Hentai would be interim Super Indy champion. Well, would that be a fair assumption?
Well, the fair assumption to me is that every single year, traditionally, the Super Indy title is vacated due to the Super Indy tournament. And as a result, whoever wins the championship tournament every year is rightfully the new champion. The last champion on record was not Johnny Gargano. It was Delirious. But Hentai took the championship. If anybody has a gripe here, it's Delirious, because he was never beaten for the championship either. He was beaten for his seed in the tournament.
Here's my problem with that. And it's this. Obviously, Johnny Gargano is ready to come back to wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, he reappeared at Super Indy celebration after Hentai won. So by all rights, Gargano should have had a spot in that tournament, at least to defend his title, which he was not given.
One could make that argument, certainly. But one thing that is not argumentative is, and check out Hentai, started things out very rapidly, and Hentai is a very aggressive man. He has a lot of controlled rage and a lot of howling fury, and all that is being unleashed right now into Johnny Gargano. Hentai has had over 2 months to stew about Gargano ruining his moment.
Well, Super Hentai is a little crazy. There's no doubt about
Check out Crazy there with a tope and helo to the outside.
Absolutely, risking life and limb. We saw, what, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, at A New Beginning, Hentai dove off the balcony of this building to the behest of his own safety. So obviously he's going to go all out. He's going to do whatever it takes to try to keep the title that he believes is his. And the interim title, if you will.
And the title that no other man is more synonymous with than Super Hentai.
I'll give you that.
This gets very violent quickly on the outside. And think about the men that have held those championships. Colt Cabana, Delirious, John McChesney, Larry Sweeney, Chris Sabin, even AJ Styles. And none of them did for that championship what Super Hentai has done and intends to do again. And Gargano trips up Hentai. Hentai hits face first on the edge of that ring apron where metal meets wood.
Well, I am 100% a fan of the Super Indy division, if you will. This fast-paced style of wrestling. You know, I mean, some call it cruiserweight, some call it X division. You know, we call it Super Indy here in IWC.
Ouch.
This style of wrestling, to me, is an art form, and no one does it better than Hentai. I just believe that he's met his match, as Gargano is a now determined man to get back what he believes is rightfully his, and I can't disagree with him.
Gargano is measuring Hentai, the southpaw, to the left arm lariat to take down Hentai. And I will give Johnny Gargano all the credit in the world. Still in his very, very early 20s, and without question, in the best shape of his entire life. Gets an ear fall center of the ring. Gargano recently debuting for the Dragon Gate USA promotion in Philadelphia. Recently debuting in several untelevised matches for TNA down at the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. Johnny Gargano is hitting new levels all the time, and certainly you'll take one look at his physique, and it's not hard to see why. But Hentai now, sunset flip to no, and not to discredit Hentai, because for his size, I've never seen an athlete pack more muscle onto their frame.
There's no doubt. I mean, he's a pint-sized powerhouse, if you will. I mean, for his size, the man is unbelievably strong. But the problem that Hentai has isn't his strength, it isn't his technical ability, because he excels in both. It is that same thing that you talked about at the beginning of this match, and that is his temper. If he can stay calm, cool, and collected through this match, he might have a chance to win it. But as he lets the emotions get the best of him, Gargano, being the cool-headed, psychologist, if you will, in the ring. Has a great chance of taking home that gold that he believes is his.
Again, he's got a variation of an abdominal stretch. Stretching at the arm as well to add extra torque and stretch onto the midsection of Hentai. That's a smart, subtle touch from Gargano we don't see a lot of athletes use. Now into the cover. It's going to take a heck of a lot to keep Super Hentai down, especially with stakes like that. You see Gargano's, the back of his trunks there, calls himself the whole shebang.
And one thing that Gargano does well, and you're seeing it right here as well, anytime he's in a submission or wear down hold, as you saw in that abdominal stretch where he was pulling the other arm across the body to restrict Hentai's breathing. Now in this weird, in this weird chin lock, he's leaning his body weight over Hentai, making Hentai pick himself up along with Hentai's own weight, making him work twice as hard to get to his feet. And that's one of those wear down moves. It might not matter much right now. As this match hits 10, 15 minutes, you're going to notice a huge difference.
Gargano connects with the foot, high on Hentai. Cover here, lateral press for 2, says Stephen Colton. Gargano certainly a master. We've seen him his epic series with Jerry Lynn here in IWC last year. A number of other matches against very accomplished athletes throughout the tri-state area. Suplex float over, 2 and no.
He needed to hook the leg there. If you don't hook the leg on Hentai, he's going to kick out.
Without question. The southpaw now takes over with the left hands. Legal until 5. And you gotta wonder how Norm Connors, how NCon feels about this matchup. We've seen Norm earlier tonight kind of renounce a lot of his evil intentions and his evil politicizing as far as, especially, most specifically, the Jimmy DeMarco bounty. Does he still have it out for Super Hentai? Does he still have Johnny Gargano? Is Gargano still in corporate favor? We're not really sure right now.
I know that you sat here and preached how much Hentai has done for the Super Indie division, and I'm not going to take that away from you. But the bottom line is when you own a company or selling a company, as Norm Connors could be doing right now, who do you want the title on? Super Hentai, who is a very well-regarded worker, or Johnny Gargano, Johnny Gargano, who is wrestling, as you said, for Dragon Gate USA, TNA, wrestling all over the place representing your company with a strap. I mean, personally, I want somebody like the whole shebang.
Very good point as well, but keep in mind Hentai also travels abroad. He has an upcoming tour of Hawaii at the end of the year. He's appeared in Japan numerous times, and certainly check this out. Just because Hentai may not have the buzz of Johnny Gargano does not necessarily mean at all that Hentai's not on Gargano's level, because that is certainly not the case.
I won't disagree with you. I'm just saying it looks good to prospective buyers, which is why Norm Connors is going to let this match go, and I believe is watching a monitor in the back rooting for Gargano.
Gargano missed with the splash from the top. Crowd behind Super Hentai at this moment. He's certainly done so much, literally and figuratively, broken his back for this company over the years. And Hentai, firing away on Gargano, just measures the young athlete.
Those chops are some of the best in the business.
Hentai is such an adept striker, whether it's right hands, chops, or those rock-hard clotheslines. And there you see the power of Super Hentai now with the Davey Boy Smith running power slam. Drives Gargano down, into the cover, hook on the leg, and Hentai half-second away from retaining the Super Indie Championship and ending this dispute.
And you have to admit, there's not many people that have kicked out of that running power slam from Hentai. He delivers it almost as good as Davey Boy Smith once did, if not better.
Hentai up and over, great sense of balance, and there you see the hard right. Gargano's out on his feet, and Hentai's waiting for him. Hentai measuring Gargano with a cross body, shoulders down, but not a hook in the leg, and Gargano able to slip out the back door.
Gargano has a lot left in the tank. You might not realize it, but like I said earlier in this match, he's a master at pacing himself and making his opponent work.
And it could be time. Triple knees in the corner by Super Hentai. Follow through. Oh, Gargano caught him. Gargano caught Hentai. Drove him straight down on the back of his head.
What have I been telling you, Dombrowski? Lying in wait, waiting for an opportunity.
Cover all the weight on top of Hentai. Hentai rolls through. Or rather, Gargano rolls through, comes back with a splash. Gargano
going to the top now.
Now he connects. Second time was the charm. Hook in the leg and Gargano. He was half a count away now from being a two-time Super Indy champion.
Look of surprise on Gargano's face. I don't think he was expecting Hentai to kick out of that one.
A look of surprise and a look of fatigue. Gargano's trained to go long distances, but you can see how much Hentai's taken out of him already.
Wasted a lot of time here.
Gargano up top. Oh, Hentai waiting for him. The hard right again. Oh, series of headbutts by Hentai.
I wonder if anybody actually checks that mask.
Well, I believe they do during pre-match instruction. Hentai.
Because I wouldn't put it past Hentai to load that mask.
Oh, it somehow does. Oh, Gargano takes away the vertical base and a straight kick to the face, right between the eyes. And Gargano sprints in and drops Hentai face first. Twisting flatliner, could this be all? Hentai kicks out.
I'm in shock. That should have been the end of the match.
Just imagine how Johnny Gargano feels about that. He is irate, he is incensed, but Super Hentai, the Super Indie innovator, still has signs of life.
He needs to hit something on Hentai right now that is going to close the game.
Looking for Uniquely You, his signature maneuver, that full Nelson facebuster. Could this be out? No, Hentai rolls through, traps the legs. Hentai, they did it! Hentai proves without a shadow of a doubt, he is the man.
The winner of this fight, Super Indy champion, Super Hentai.
Ain't no doubt about it anymore, DH Cruiser, Super Hentai, current, reigning, defending Super Indy champion, Johnny Gargano, has finally been pinned.
I will now agree with you that he is the champion.
And there you see the presentation, a consolation prize to the official presentation that was tarnished back in the month of May. But Super Hentai knows there's no dispute anymore, there's no politics anymore. Super Hentai is victorious, is champion, and now attempts to match his unmatchable feat of the early part of this decade. Gargano looking into the eyes of what he has to admit now, this night was the better man.
You can see it in Gargano's eyes. He's shocked that Hentai had enough left to pull out of his finisher. After the series of moves, at the end of that match, Hentai should have been down on the mat. Any normal man would have been down on the mat. And you can see in Gargano's face that he realizes Hentai was the better man tonight.
Gargano will certainly have to come to grips with that fact, but there is the man, the Super Indie innovator, is now officially, without dispute, the Super Indie champion, Super Hentai.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. See, I'm mainly Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but maybe Thursday. Things are just so weird though. Let's do Wednesdays and Thursdays training next week.
Okay, because we usually do Tuesdays, Wednesdays,
Yeah,
Thursdays.
no, but things have been weird, man. I don't know. I'm just hearing noises.
Like that?
Yeah, like that, and like other people are following me too. It's just really creepy, and I don't know what's going on. I think I need to go now.
Here, yeah, I can do. I
Go
can
grab
hold
your
my
bag,
own.
but meet me outside, okay?
Yeah, just go right now. It's fine.
Stay away from Daizee! Stay away!
I don't know what it is. Something's been like creeping me out, or like I've been scared coming up here. No, I'm serious. Like I feel like I'm in danger. Somebody's watching.
It's a battle fair at stake.
I was leaving the other day, and it was like somebody was following me down the stairs. What is that? See, there's somebody in there. I'm serious. You know, even though nothing really happened today, I still get scared coming up here.
There's nothing to be sad about. It's a bad day.
But there are times when I'm by myself and I hear footsteps or...
You guys didn't know what's wrong in here. And oh, hey, Indy. Bye. Is that everything?
I think I got everything. You good?
Good.
Get my keys.
Yes.
Let's go.
Good. Right.
Whose is that?
It's a hat.
Maybe it's a student. Yeah? No, I'll get it tomorrow. Let's get out of here. What is this? That is a knife! I told you somebody's out to hurt me! Why is there a knife in the ring? SC? No. That's something bad. That's from somebody bad. SC. What's under that hat? I know it's you, Sami Callihan. I know it's you. I swear to God, August 1st, you bring whoever you want to IWC. Delirious and I are gonna take you on, and all this nonsense is gonna stop once and for all.
Let's go kick your ass right now! Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a mixed tag team attraction
feud between Delirious, Daizee Haze, and the new horror, Sami Callihan, could not get any more personal. Callihan gets way over the line with these creepy, disturbing, stalker-like videos, as if Callihan hasn't done enough damage to Daizee Haze. In the past, dropping her on her head, he robbed Delirious of a Super Indy 8 seed, and he's still not done. He's stalking Daizee Haze now.
And their opponents, introducing to you first, coming from the last house on the left, he's known as the new horror, Sami Callihan.
One could only guess the sick individual that would hang around a guy like Sami Callihan.
Well, won't be freaking do, Delirious. Aren't you two just a regular Scooby-Doo mystery crew that figured out the mystery of the creepy man with the black and white camera? But what you guys don't know is who my mystery partner is. You know, some people in the back are saying it's WWF legend Bertha Faye.
What?
What?
You know, some people are saying it's the biggest woman in all professional wrestling, Awesome Kong.
That's a little more likely.
Some people are even saying it's your protege, Mischief.
Could be.
But one thing I will say is you two are in for a big surprise. So let's bring out my partner now.
Who do we have? Mixed tag action here is set. Delirious and Daizee. Oh, whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Sami Callihan's tag team partner, Jon Moxley.
Bruiser, I realize I'm not going to win any investigative journalism awards for this, but that ain't no woman.
I was under the impression that Sami Callihan was going to pick a woman, any woman. You know, we saw him pick Daphne before.
Wait a second, Sammy's got Daizee. Sammy's got Daizee finally, and Delirious interrupting, and as if things weren't bad before. And Delirious is telling Daizee, go to the back. She's not safe. Delirious, you got to admire and commend his efforts to protect and save Daizee Haze, his personal interpreter. But he's going to take on both these men alone. Now, for those fans that aren't aware, Sami Callihan and Jon Moxley are regular tag team partners on the East Coast. They're called the Switchblade Conspiracy, and they're one of those infamous and aggressive tag teams in independent wrestling today. And now Delirious has to contend with them 2-on-1?
I don't see how Delirious has any chance whatsoever now. I do commend him. I'm not a purveyor of violence against women, so I do appreciate that Delirious sent her to the back. But what he did is he signed his own death warrant now. These are two very capable wrestlers who are going to pick Delirious apart, and he has no backup.
That's very true, unfortunately. And Delirious has never been one to call on the help of others and ask for assistance. But
Where's he ever been one with common sense?
Well,
Let's be honest.
Delirious has never been accused of being a Rhodes Scholar, but he is tough. And he has always done everything in his power to protect Daizee Haze. And for months, dating back to A New Beginning, Sami Callihan has targeted Daizee Haze, and Callihan's been one of the few men to reach through Delirious and get to Daizee Haze. Dropped her on her head with a back suplex back, and I believe, the prior mixed tag team match they had when Callihan teamed with Daphne.
Absolutely. And one of the things with Delirious through his entire career has done is he's been a master playing mind games. You might think he's crazy, and he very well might be crazy, but he plays mind games with his opponent and throws him off. And what you're seeing here is Sami Callihan is beating Delirious in his own game. He's taking Delirious out of his comfort zone, outside the box, and is now has Delirious in a position where the Switchblade,
Switchblade Conspiracy
and Delirious' career right here.
That's very true as well, but Delirious is not only fighting for his career, fighting for his health, he's fighting for the honor of Daizee Haze, and to him that may be the most important thing of all. Can you imagine how sick and perverse a man must be to follow around Daizee Haze with a video camera and tape her?
I mean, what you call sick and perverse, some people out here in this crowd probably call a normal Saturday night.
Oh, please.
But what I'm saying is, you know, it is despicable. But if you're Sami Callihan, and if you want to take Delirious out of IWC for good, it's the smartest strategy that you could have.
Delirious is trying to choke away at Sami Callihan. Notice Delirious, his intentions and attention are not primarily on Jon Moxley right now. They're on Sami Callihan. That's where the months-long issue lies. You can tell Delirious has maybe never detested another athlete in IWC more than he does Sami Callihan. Callihan has done more than anybody to make this about personal lives.
And Delirious has been in there with some of the best. Let's not discredit his experience at all. He's wrestled Matt Sydal, who's now Bolen in WWE, and countless other TNA and WWE superstars, as well as the best in the independent wrestling scene has to offer.
Keep in mind, Delirious, a former two-time Super Indy champion, a very rare feat to accomplish. But he never had to compete in Super Indy at 2-on-1 odds, especially when the two are men as tough, as dangerous as Callihan and Moxley. Keep in mind the hard strikes that are a staple of Sami Callihan's offense. And then you've got Jon Moxley, who's bigger, who's stronger, who's tougher, and apparently just as sadistic.
Apparently so. I've seen both of these men in singles action before. Obviously, Sami Callihan we've seen here for months and months at IWC. I've seen Moxley quite a few times. It's the first time I'm seeing them work together. And if you notice, these two already have that inbred chemistry. They're already talking to each other throughout the ring, and they're already strategizing to take Delirious out. I don't really think Delirious has a hope in this match.
That may be unfortunate but true, as it's hard to discredit the credentials of the Switchblade Conspiracy in tag team competition, let alone 2-on-1. And Moxley, is he going to the mask?
It looks like he is.
And that would be the ultimate insult to Delirious. Not only have they invaded the personal life of Daizee Haze, now they're going to expose the identity of Delirious?
Well, I mean, it's not like Delirious is some Scooby-Doo villain. No one cares what he looks like.
Shoulders down. I care very much.
Really?
Yes. The word on the street is he gets half a lizard. This could be interesting.
Oh, that's just ridiculous.
But Delirious, however, does not want to...
5 minutes gone by. 5 minutes.
Doesn't want his facial features exposed, and you got to respect that for whatever reason. Look at the scowl on the face of Sami Callihan. I've never seen this guy in a good mood.
No, you're never going to see Sami Callihan in a good mood. Sami Callihan hates everybody, everything. He's actually told me before that he hates his own family.
You know what? I think the feeling's mutual from at least most of those things he named.
The nickname, the New Whore, that was actually what the doctor gave Sami Callihan in the delivery room.
Well, if he was born with that scowl on his face, I can see why.
Moxley, no cover model either. He has a very disturbed look on his face as well. Maybe these two are born from, brothers from another mother or something, but similar style, similar affection, similar attitude out of both these guys.
And you have to wonder what's going through the mind right now of Daizee Haze. Delirious pretty much forced her, and Delirious with a bit of offense down with a suplex, but there's no one for him to tag and nowhere for him to go. And Daizee Haze has to be a wreck in the back right now, watching on as Delirious gets mauled 2-on-1. And Callihan tagged back in when Moxley was getting into a bit of trouble, and Callihan now measuring Delirious once again. And I'm not sure what Callihan's trying to prove here. I'm not sure what kind of message he's trying to send. If he's trying to take Daizee and Delirious out of IWC or what. But Callihan has certainly done a lot of damage, and it just continues on right now.
You have to commend Delirious for still even being in this match right now. He's definitely fighting, on pure adrenaline and pure pride, if you will. But I spoke too soon.
Delirious with a sidestep and a clothesline. The man from the edge of sanity still has life, still has fire here. Perhaps with nothing motivating him on, but the thought of Daizee Haze and the torment she's gone through for weeks. Delirious driven down for a near fall.
I'm not opposed to it, but I have no idea why the referee is letting both men in the ring right now.
That's very
it's already, it's already a handicap match.
Forearm shot. And now Delirious attack from both sides. Nowhere for him to go. Come on, referee, let's do something here. Delirious has no hope at this point.
No, none at all.
Slim just became none with 2 men in the ring at once. And finally, Sami Callihan goes to the outside, and Moxley now punishing Delirious, bending Delirious back with the chin lock. Should also mention at the moment now that noted professional wrestling photographer Howard Turnat's on the outside documenting this event here. Certainly a lot of luminaries and dignitaries on hand for No Excuses 5.
Well, this has historically been a huge event for IWC. I mean, great things have happened here if you go back over the last couple of years. And I'm sure with the card that we have scheduled tonight, you're going to see some great things tonight. And personally, one of the greatest things that we're going to see happen is the end of Delirious's career. Just my opinion.
Well, that may unfortunately be a fact. These sleeper holds cutting off the blood supply to the brain via the carotid artery right now. If that arm drops 3 times, it's over. That's well, wait a second. Daizee Haze is back out here. Against the better wishes of Delirious, Haze is out, willing on Delirious, and Delirious shows signs of life once again. I believe the sight of Daizee Haze gave Delirious an extra shot of adrenaline, and right now trying to battle free, but taken right back into the Switchblade corner.
And let's hope that Delirious, through his better judgment, does not tag in Daizee Haze.
Miscommunication, and Delirious,
and he dunked.
You gotta believe out of necessity, out of hesitation, tag it, Daizee Haze, who gets her hands on Sami Callihan finally. The drop kick, the boot, and Callihan, karma about to catch up with the new horror. Watch Daizee Haze.
Daizee Haze caution to the outside.
Get a fly on Moxley, and Daizee Haze pound for pound.
Done by 10 minutes.
Pound for pound, maybe the toughest athlete we've ever seen here. We've seen her go toe-to-toe with Awesome Kong. And now Delirious, tagged in. Could be time for Shadows over Harold. Down on top of Callihan. The lateral press. Delirious, no! Near fall.
Moxley saving his partner here, and Daizee Haze is in the lion's den right now. She needs to run away and run away fast, as Moxley is just caught window.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Moxley, I believe he just blew her a kiss. Could that be the kiss of death? No. Don't you dare do this. That's a woman.
Hey, she put herself in the ring, Dombrowski.
She didn't put herself in the position to be followed around and filmed and videotaped
I'll give you that.
in her privacy. And Callihan, no. We saw Callihan try to use the chair on her at Super Indy 8, and Moxley gonna finish the job, but thank God for Delirious, the chair to the head of Jon Moxley, and that's his disqualification. I don't think Delirious cares about a win or a loss right now. He had to protect Daizee. He had no choice. He had no recourse. And the Switchblade conspiracy has been run off for now.
Well, this is definitely not the end of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of this contest, as a result of a disqualification, the team of Sami Callihan and Jon Moxley.
Callihan and Moxley victorious via disqualification. And there you can see it, blowing kisses once again to Daizee Haze. These sick, vile individuals, whatever type of message they're trying to send, whatever type of psychological edge they're trying to get, it certainly worked. But there's going to be hell to pay from Delirious. The most important thing in Delirious' life is Daizee Haze. And the Switchblade conspiracy have messed with that more than anyone else in this business. Delirious got a taste of revenge now with the chair, but there's got to be more on the way.
Well, Delirious needs to go.
I am the around here. Because from now on, it's all about me. Because I love me some me. Now give it up one time. One time for J-Rock
IWC trainer and newfound Encon loyalist, the notorious Shane Taylor, 375 pounds of bad Cleveland attitude. Ray Rose heavy on the outside. In the ring, it's super bad James Avery, formerly known to IWC fans as simply the best Carlton has early on in the decade. Back with a new name, new look, new attitude, fresh new start to the man formerly simply the best. And now, you want to talk about simply the best? Perhaps the best independent wrestling legend you'll find anywhere. A man with over 30 years experience in the professional wrestling.
A clear partner is escorted to the ring by his manager, Mayor Mystery. He represents, hailing from Bourbon Street, New Orleans, weighing at 225 pounds. He's the living legend of Pittsburgh wrestling, Lord Zoltan.
Lord Zoltan has been in the ring with everybody you can think of in this business, from Bruno Sammartino to the Honky Tonk Man and everywhere in between, and he has not lost a step. You see, Mayor Mystery, the alleged mayor of parts unknown, leading Zoltan in for this 8-man tag team confrontation.
I voted for Mayor Mystery.
Why am I not surprised?
Zoltan is exactly what you say is a local legend. Tri-State area, you would talk to any wrestling fan and ask them who Lord Zoltan is, and they'll have some memory. Whether it's fun or hatred, they'll know of Lord Zoltan.
And Zoltan is another athlete that fits a mold of, like a Delirious, a master of psychology and the human game of chess. Right now, Michael Obama Facade, the suburban terrorist, had an impressive showing in Super Indy 8 not too long ago. His tag team partner, Jimmy Vegas, a former two-time IWC champion, who rules wins over men like Raven, Sandman, and Tommy Dreamer. Vegas has been out of the IWC spotlight for many, many months now, has been touring the south portion of the United States, including a stay in San Antonio, Texas, where he was training with Hernandez of TNA fame.
Please welcome back to IWC, weighing in at 220 pounds, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Jon
competition in 2004. Since then, he's brought his brand of power and intensity to the IWC ring, where he's been second to none as far as power. And you want to talk about second to none, Bruiser? A true innovator of the style of wrestling we all enjoy and love today.
Without a doubt, a legend.
And third quarter, it's coming to the ring by living legend Dominic DeMarco from the Fuji Islands. Weighing at 225 pounds, he's the legend, the Hall of Famer, the Superstar, Jimmy Snuka.
And is the original phenom of professional wrestling happy to be here or what? Superfly, Jimmy Snuka, the timeless veteran, the man who made diving off the steel cage a household scene, a man who influenced Mick Foley to enter a career as a professional wrestler, escorted to the ring by the man that trained Mick Foley, Dominic DeMarco.
Dominic DeMarco trained, a who's who, a proverbial who's who of wrestling stars. The franchise Shane Douglas and Mick Foley, just to name a few. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, almost ageless. As we talk about Lord Zoltan being ageless, here's another man who unbelievably can still go at this age and this point in his career. And he has a lot of young talent around him in Facade, Jimmy Vegas, and your former commentating partner, John Bolen.
Yes, that was very unique experience, as I'm sure my partner Foghorn would agree with.
I heard.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, another individual with over 3 decades in the game. And God help him, he loves it so much. He's not going to slow down. For goodness sakes, he competed at WrestleMania this year.
This is true. Against Chris Jericho, fighting for the legends, if you will. And something that we here at IWC take very seriously with our multi-annual Night of the Legends event.
Is Shane Taylor getting lippy with Dominic DeMarco?
I believe he is.
That's a mistake.
It's a mistake on DeMarco's part. In his day, DeMarco could have stood up to Shane Taylor. Right now,
in his day, DeMarco would have stretched him 7 ways to Sunday, and he may still be able to. And that's not a knock on Shane Taylor, because he's near 400 pounds of power. And we got about a 7-way standoff on the outside of the ring. But
unfazed by this is Snuka as he's warming up in the ring.
We got to touch for just a moment with legends, 3 bona fide legends out here right now, and certainly a number of future legends as well. What about what J-Rock stated before this matchup? He was upset over being stricken to the pre-show, and he basically laid out a warning that any future legends that come to IWC in the future, they'll have to deal with him because he thinks they're stealing his spotlight.
Well, the question isn't when this is going to happen. It's who's going to step up to J-Rock's chat. We've seen legends through here, from local legends, as we see right now in Lord Zoltan, clear up through legends like Ric Flair, Jimmy Snuka, Hall of Famers, Paul Orndorff, not to mention, great tag team legends, Axe, Smash and Demolition, the Warlord. We've seen so many legends come through here, Jake the Snake Roberts, and one of them is going to shut up the disrespectful mouth of J-Rock, unfortunately. That or J-Rock's going to kill one of them, whichever comes first.
Bell sounds were underway. I find it very interesting, J-Rock complaining about wrestling, in his words, a cripple in the pre-show bonus match. But
I stated it in the bonus. I have to agree with J-Rock. I'm not trying to be mean to the young kid Gregory. I'm just saying I don't believe it.
Well, I would mention that Gregory Iron did win that matchup, regardless of what J-Rock may want to have us remember. But certainly J-Rock nursing an injury as well, and we certainly hope he convalesces, or I think we do. I'm not really sure. But check out this unique standout. Have you ever seen 4 more diverse personalities in one place at one time?
I mean, really what you have here is a past, present, and future, if you will, of wrestling. You have guys like Jimmy Vegas and Bolen who have been doing this for quite some time, a rookie, and not necessarily a rookie, but definitely a younger star, an up-and-comer in Facade, with the legend Jimmy Snuka. And this is very interesting to me that these 2 men are going to start the match. Jimmy Snuka and Lord Zoltan, not one to sit on the apron and wait.
Not in the league.
This up.
Well, I don't think we're going to look for a quick tempo here, but we're going to look for a lot of mind games and a lot of psychology. Who's going to outsmart the other? That's the question.
Zoltan being affected by the cheers for Snuka right now.
And Snuka has not blinked. He had moved.
Zoltan wisely tagging out as so does Snuka, teasing the fans as if they were going to start it.
Check out Danucci.
Danucci just grabbed the leg. Who's cheating?
Danucci's not even in his corner right now. I don't think he cares.
Mayor Mystery just tried to call Danucci on it, and Danucci scared him away instantly.
I didn't even notice him. Not like quickness to creep around the side of the ring like that. And right now it's Logan Shulo and Michael Facade. Now we got a quick tempo. These two men have a history. It was a best-of-3 series. The Facade beat Shulo in to qualify for Super Indy 8.
He did, and what you saw right there was, at the very beginning of the match, the very beginning of that lockup, Facade was trying to match power with Shulo, which is just not the way he's going to do it.
Springboard, nicely done with a moonsault.
Matching speed, Facade has a chance here.
The interruption by James Avery.
Interesting to see Avery back under a new persona.
Yes.
And Facade now actually slowing down the tempo surprisingly, as he's one to usually fly around the ring and quicken the pace. He's trying to slow Shulo down and maybe take some of that power game away from him.
Let's check this out. Facade still a step ahead of Shulo. I think Facade knows he can't make any mistakes early on here. You have so much mass around this ring. You have so many bodies that if he quickens the pace too much, if he starts running too fast, he can very easily get picked from the outside. Keep in mind, Mayor Mystery has that cane on the outside. You can't ever forget about that. We've seen Mayor Mystery cause a lot of problems at our Legend shows in Franklin. And check out the first legal physicality of Jon Bolen in IWC in a number of years.
Well, I mean, that injury that sidelined Bolen kept him on the show for years. He's been itching and waiting to make this re-debut. And what a way to do it in this past, present, and future 8-man tag.
Bolen did not want to come back until he felt he was at least 100% fully recovered and ready. And now the tag other man makes his return. Jimmy Vegas, one of the most decorated heavyweight champions in company history. A man who's wrestled countless times for WWE as well. Been all over the country, as we mentioned. Spent some time in Texas training with Hernandez in the Latin American Exchange. And Vegas looks leaner and more powerful than he has in a number of years.
Absolutely. When we saw him return at a new beginning in a 8-man tag match, but even since then, you can tell that Jimmy Vegas has been working on conditioning. He's slimmed down, he looks trim.
Over here, Facade gets 2.
And that's a bad story for the 8-man tag team of Shane Taylor, James Avery, Logan Shulo, and Zoltan.
Absolutely. Vegas is back into heavyweight championship shape. He's back the way he was back in the early part of the decade. And Shulo back to the vertical base. Certainly when Shulo's on his feet, he has the advantage. He's got the power, he's got the height. And Facade went to twist around with the arm drag one more time, but Shulo able to catch Facade in midair and drop with a backbreaker. Cover, only count of 1 there.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
Logan Shulo, ever since aligning himself with Encon, we've seen a different edge to this young guy. We've seen that killer instinct that everybody said was lacking from him as he was pandering to the fans.
And again, we have to question Encon's thoughts on this match, on this team. Logan Shulo and Shane Taylor were part of those quote-unquote chosen ones that Norm wanted to build the company around. But now with the bounty on Jimmy DeMarco officially called off, and Norm really not appearing as a factor in any of these matches at all, whether being in the boardroom or at ringside, you have to wonder if he has a bias in this matchup at all.
You know, and I can't answer that as much.
Beautiful snap power slam by Avery.
As much as we do talk about, I really can't answer that. What I do know is it bodes well for guys like Logan Shulo and Shane Taylor to stay aligned with someone like Ray Rowe. Somebody who is a veteran presence.
Oh, wait a second. We're about to lose control here. Vegas mixing up with Shane Taylor as the distraction of referee Coulter has led to some carnage, and Coulter's got to reevaluate the truth to send to the outside, and it's Lord Zoltan in there now with Michael Facade. Talking about a Styles clash here.
Absolutely. And here comes another Styles clash. Brute force of 375-pound Shane Taylor against, what is it, 165-pound, 175-pound Facade?
When you run into Shane Taylor, it feels like Shane Taylor ran into you.
That's without question. I've seen Shane Taylor actually get hit in the parking lot by small vehicles and total them.
Shane Taylor distracting the official, and Mayor Mystery with the choke with the cane, and we know Bolen's got a temper on him. He's packed Mayor Mystery halfway out of the building. And Dominic DeNucci getting involved as well. Oh, you can hear the collision. You can hear the impact, body on body, as Facade got taken down.
Facade needs a medic.
And a tag into James Avery, the former Carlton Cavs. Who could forget some of his battles here in the past? He has memorable series of matches with Albie Dam, who has moved on to other pastures as well. And has beautiful technical maneuver to hook the leg of Facade, cut out the vertical base, and come back with that Muda lock, and Vegas comes in to break.
Veteran maneuver there, broken up by Jimmy Vegas. Blind tag now, Zoltan in to slow down the pace on Facade. Facade definitely needs to tag out if he wants any chance of winning this match.
I'm not sure whether or not there was an actual tag made there or not. However, we'll certainly give the benefit of the doubt if the official will. And Bolen complaining about the tag. And meanwhile, we got 3-on-1 in the enemy corner. I do not envy Stephen Coulter at all. This may be the toughest job of his entire officiating career. And now Jimmy Snuka's measuring the mayor.
Especially with guys like Zoltan in there who knows how to work the system, knows how to misdirect the referee, and is using every bit of that experience to their advantage right now.
Shulo rips off the gi of Michael Facade. More exposed flesh means more retarded. Hard slam. Too bad, no. Shulo, a very big guy, very agile, about 6'2" or 3, very well put together, has all the tools to go very, very far in this business, and we're seeing glimpses of that potential, but certainly a bit misguided by his choice in company, I would surmise.
Facade throwing right hands into the midsection of Shane Taylor. That's not going to do much.
Taylor has so much power, so much intensity. Facade built some momentum. That's what he needs to try to do. Oh, good Lord. A straight boot, and Facade just shot back 5 feet into the corner.
I've said it once already in this match, and I'm going to say it again. Facade needs a medic. Facade is in a world of trouble right now. He just caught that size 13 boot of Shane Taylor right to the chest.
Lord Zoltan tags back in. The man from Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Working on Facade, grounding Facade with the front chancery. And again, James Avery taking away the referee's attention, so there's no chance of Facade making a tag. And again, Steve Coulter has to sort this out.
Shulo and Avery here trying to some type of double team maneuver.
Facade got the foot to Shulo, sends the former Carlton Cavs into Shulo, connects to the Enziguri kick.
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
Bolen screaming for the tag here.
Oh, they can feel they want it. And here comes the intensity of John Bolen back in the ring. Down goes Avery. Series of shots. Huge slam. Bolen about 260 of power. And Logan Shulo felt it as well. Tag to Vegas. And now Team Snuka has the quick tags rolling.
James Avery here in a world of trouble. A power team right here in Vegas with Bolen.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that double team. And Zoltan wants none of it.
Zoltan wisely getting down. I wouldn't want anything to do with Jimmy Vegas and John Bolen either.
Shane Taylor made the blind tag. Zoltan's leaving. Zoltan wants none of this match anymore. I think he took one look at Bolen and Vegas together and decided, I'll live to fight another day. And now, oh, look out.
Oh, no.
That's almost 400 pounds! Lifted up like it's nothing. Can you believe Vegas and Bolen? And now the tag to the Phenom, the Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. And Snuka gonna go up top. Gonna hit the rope. It's time. I love you, brother. The Superfly Splash. The cover. James Taylor sent in.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your winners. The
knowing when their number's been called and losing faith in their team apparently, as they bailed and left Shane Taylor out there hanging to dry, if you will.
And it's a tribute now to the legend. Paul Orndorff in attendance as well. Also Dominic Danucci, Superfly Series Snuka, very instrumental in the success of Facade tonight and the successful return of Jimmy Vegas and John Cole. Originally scheduled to be a bounty match. However, at the top of the program, Norm Connors, our promoter, in lieu of leaving the wrestling business at the end of the year, decided to call off the bounty. So Ray Rowe not looking to collect money anymore from Norm Connors, at least not outside of his usual contract. But he is out to face a man that he certainly does not like, and certainly has a long and storied history.
These two have never liked each other. Ray Rowe hates Jimmy DeMarco, and I don't think DeMarco's too fond of Ray Rowe either. And we're going to see that come to a head, bounty or no bounty, right now.
And here's the opponent, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, weighs in at 210 pounds, he's Dr. Delicious Jimmy DeMarco.
Will Dr. Delicious's prescription for perversion be enough to overcome the emotionless assassin and the baddest man in IWC? Jimmy DeMarco has been on the front line of the battle against the crooked politics of the IWC's management. Jimmy DeMarco was shafted and wronged, told he didn't deserve his spot, didn't deserve to be in the main event, in the spotlight. And DeMarco damn near killed himself to get through Necro Butcher to prove his detractors wrong. And DeMarco now more popular and respected than ever before because of it.
Well, you have to give Jimmy DeMarco credit. The match he had with the Necro Butcher, unbelievable. I couldn't believe Jimmy DeMarco lived through that match. But the Prince of Perversion, the Doctor of Debauchery, is in for his toughest test, in my opinion, and the toughest man in IWC, Ray Rowe. Ray Rowe is a wrecking machine. And you can see in their eyes right now as they stare down, this is all business for Ray Rowe.
Now we've touched on the deep amount of personal disdain that exists between these two men throughout the wrestling business whenever they've encountered one another. Notably here as well, keep in mind once Ray Rowe was unleashed in IWC, once he became the emotionless assassin, once he became part of the Cleveland Mafia, really I believe the first man to pin him was Jimmy DeMarco some years ago, and I don't think Ray Rowe ever forgot about that.
Well, Ray Rowe doesn't take any loss lightly. I mean, if you remember back a few years ago when he lost to Samoa Joe, that really lit a fire under Ray Rowe. That really changed Ray Rowe's entire complexion in this company. And right now, you're just seeing some huge haymakers, some violent shots from Ray Rowe and Jimmy DeMarco.
And We're seeing the fist, a vicious chop, and bounty or no bounty, I don't think Ray Rowe's changed his game plan up one bit. And DeMarco spitting in the face of Ray Rowe, spitting in the face of adversity, spitting in the face of Norm Connor's obstacles. That is, oh God, did you see how hard DeMarco hit?
Jimmy DeMarco is unbelievable. The amount of punishment that this guy can take is ridiculous. If you want to call it testicular fortitude, whatever you want to call it, but the bottom line is Ray Rowe is already in this match dished out more punishment than most can take, and Jimmy D is begging for more.
DeMarco firing back. And when you look at, you talk about heart, you talk about the fortitude, how can you look at that effort? Whether it's against Rowe, Necro Butcher, anybody we've seen DeMarco against, how can you look at this effort and tell yourself and tell anybody else DeMarco doesn't deserve something in this business? DeMarco has gone through the school of hard knocks. He's paid price after price to get where he is.
Absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. Jimmy DeMarco was the clown prince of IWC for quite some time. And only in the last couple of months, year if you will, have we really started to see what Jimmy DeMarco can do.
Shoulder first in the pose.
Starting last September when Jimmy DeMarco chose not to lay down for Mickey Gambino so that he could get into the heavyweight title tournament. Jimmy DeMarco almost won that title tournament. Jimmy DeMarco was right in the mix there for the heavyweight title. And then you saw that violent match where him and his partner, the former Hollywood Balds, against the Gambinos. I mean, that was a bloodbath of a match. Jimmy DeMarco has really staked his claim as one of the top guys in IWC here. He just has to get through Ray Rowe to really plant the flag.
And we really didn't expect that out of Jimmy DeMarco in the past. A lot of times you look at his reputation, his over-the-top personality, his antics, and it's really easy to overlook DeMarco's technical skills, his toughness, and his success in the ring. But DeMarco's making people take notice of that, whether they like to, being the fans, or whether they don't, being in the front office.
You know, I will slightly agree with you here. However, again, as we talked about earlier on who you want representing your company. You know, do you want the Clown Prince representing your company? And I can understand why Honors, making a smart business decision, would put the belt on Ray Rowe, helping Ray Rowe get over Xion to have somebody like Ray Rowe, a former mixed martial artist, somebody who, Ray Rowe was just in a Hollywood movie with Kurt Angle.
That's true. That's
Ray Rowe is, I mean, a person in this business who you can plant a flag and say, this is my guy. And Ray Rowe right now, as violent and as detrimental to people as he might be, is the guy that Norm Connors wanted his company.
Oh, DeMarco's got a handful. You talk about fortitude, how about a claw?
Testicular claw there from Jimmy DeMarco. And I can't say that I would, I guess I probably would do that.
Ouch! And Ray Rowe taking offense to that, as justifiably so, and now bending the arm and shoulder on that tightly enforced ring cable. That's not going to feel good. There's not a lot of give in those ropes.
Absolutely not. Ray Rowe, as I touched on earlier, is a mixed martial artist. Ray Rowe knows how to tear somebody apart.
Yeah.
How to take someone limb from limb and break them down.
You've seen it many times.
And he's starting that right now with Jimmy DeMarco.
But you want to talk about what's good for, oh my, DeMarco, again, perhaps gutsy to a fault. Perhaps loyal to his cause to a fault. As he's not only fighting a lion, he's taunting it, he's teasing it. And a ton of
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
And a spine buster. DeMarco able to slip underneath Rowe to take Rowe down. Nicely done. So you talk about what's good for business. By the sounds of things, Jimmy DeMarco is good for business, certainly. And Ray Rowe, one of the best athletes here of all time, no question about it. But did he need the unfair help to get the championship? Probably not. That's what's so frustrating about the baddest man in IWC.
I'll agree with that. I will completely agree with that, as I think Ray Rowe could run through any man on any given night. One thing about DeMarco you have to respect, and I'm even going to give the devil his due, if you will. The power that Jimmy DeMarco holds within that small frame is unbelievable. We've seen him, hoist the guys 3 times his size up on his back. Not to mention, you just saw him power up Ray Rowe with one arm for a spine buster.
Oh, he's a tough guy, no question. DeMarco introducing Ray Rowe to some of our implements here at ringside, and I don't believe it's officially a no DQ match, but you got to have expected it to go that way. I don't think the referee is going to step in because, quite frankly, the referee, I think, values his life.
Well, that, not to mention the fact that we know the history here.
Yes.
We know what's at stake, and I believe the referee is going to give them a little bit of leeway so that this ends tonight.
Oh, we might see a lot of leeway right now. What is this? DeMarco, thank God, goes downstairs to save himself. Did you? And Rowe hits the steel arm.
That should be a disqualification. It's not for the low blow, but for that. And you can tell that referee, who is that? Bobby Williams, I believe in there, is letting it go. He just doesn't. He's letting these two fight it out to the end.
No way for these guys to protect themselves on that ramp. DeMarco's proud of himself. But if you hear what Ray Rowe said before we saw that exchange, he's going to end Jimmy DeMarco's career. It seems like Ray Rowe's still after that bounty, whether it's there or not. Rowe is out for blood. He's out for malicious intent. He's out. No! Suplex! Good Lord!
Oh my God!
DeMarco lands in Twisted Steel, and that may pale in comparison to how twisted Jimmy DeMarco's spine is right now.
An over-the-head, belly-to-belly suplex there from Ray Rowe puts Jimmy DeMarco into the front row. You see fans standing as their seats have now been demolished by the carnage created by Ray Rowe.
And that wasn't done to win a match. That was done to send a message. That was done to make a statement. That was done to shorten, if not end, a career. And that may be what it takes right now. Ray Rowe looks like he'll be happy to take a count out, and I don't see Jimmy DeMarco barely stirring at this point.
We're at a 6 count now, and Jimmy DeMarco is not getting up. DeMarco being helped by fans, actually.
And DeMarco, no quit. No quit at all. Never say die is Jimmy DeMarco. Even when he probably should, he won't. And by God, this kid is back in the ring, and he's ready for more. Is that your best shot, Ray Rowe?
Ray Rowe answering with a monstrous forearm. Jimmy DeMarco, I believe, is defenseless right now.
Jimmy DeMarco's attitude is not going to prolong his career, may not prolong his lifespan, but it sure as hell going to earn him a lot of respect. If anybody watching this, and check out the sidestep by DeMarco on the knees.
That might be the only defense Jimmy DeMarco has right now is to run. Jimmy DeMarco needs to stay clear of Rowe until he gets some feeling back in his arm. You see him holding it down to its side.
You may be right, but DeMarco gonna take the fight. Full speed ahead, full throttle. I don't think DeMarco knows any other way at this point. He's too determined. He's too motivated. He's been through so much. From the family turning on him, to the crooked politics, to Necro Butcher. DeMarco's out on his feet though. And Rowe took too much time. DeMarco banged him in, but Rowe connects with the knees the second time.
That should be it here.
The cover and a near fall. And that has fallen a lot of great athletes. Those knees, they send you ricocheting back into the corner. Whiplash, not to mention the impact of the knees themselves.
I'm honestly not only impressed but shocked at the amount of punishment that Jimmy DeMarco is taking right now. I thought this match was over when he went into the crowd, and Jimmy DeMarco is taking Ray Rowe's best and somehow fighting back. But the question is for how long? How long can somebody withstand this type of punishment?
That's the clothesline. The C4. DeMarco with C4. Can DeMarco do this? 2.5.
Ray Rowe, thank God Ray Rowe kicks out. Can you imagine if Jimmy DeMarco could pin Necro Butcher and Ray Rowe in back-to-back IWC outings? I actually could not believe that. If you told me a year ago that that would happen, I would call you a liar and bet my paycheck against
a second C4! A deep hop! No! Again!
Still not enough to put Ray Rowe down.
Less than half a count away. And I'll be honest, I want to see Jimmy DeMarco do this. Jimmy DeMarco, and we talked about Gregory Iron earlier, but Jimmy DeMarco is an inspiration all his own here. What a success story. Oh, DeMarco got hung up on that senton. Oh no, Death Row! Done!
That's it.
Done!
Kick out from Death Row.
DeMarco had a good fight, but in the end, what?
Oh my God!
What?
Nobody Nobody has kicked out of Death Row.
DeMarco just survived the unsurvivable.
I think Bobby Williams has been paid off. I'm going on record and saying that right now. DeMarco did not kick out before 3 count.
Jimmy DeMarco just survived a maneuver in which the name implies the reality, Death Row. And Rowe
I'm speechless. I'm speechless, Dombrowski.
has to raise the stakes. Next level. As if we thought there was one beyond Death Row.
Well, now Bobby Williams doesn't want anything to happen in the match. It's okay for them to drop on him.
Wait, roll up! DeMarco! No! Well, it's one thing to fight all over this building, but when one guy's got a weapon, you got to draw the line somewhere.
I call that, judgment, Indy has to who you want. Because Jimmy DeMarco should have been disqualified earlier tonight. There's no doubt about it. And I'm still in shock that Jimmy DeMarco kicked out.
That straight knee strike. And Rowe's, I believe the top of the bone of Rowe's knee is exposed. I don't think that knee pad is pulled up all the way.
No, he definitely pulled it down. And right now, if this was an MMA fight, the ref would stop it. Jimmy DeMarco's not even defending himself.
This is violent. No, DeMarco's been busted wide open right in the head from those knees. Straight bone on bone, knee to forehead. And Bobby Williams is calling for help here. This has got to stop. Rowe, a crossface. This has gone beyond sending a message here.
European crossface is right around here.
Our company doctors out here. DeMarco is lifeless right now. He's motionless, and Rowe's not stopping. And the knees knocked DeMarco out. Straight up, DeMarco and now the elbow.
And Ray Rowe's not going to win this match.
No, DeMarco's been beaten senseless.
They're going to call this match.
Stop the damn.
Get in there. Trying to end DeMarco's career right now.
He damn sure is. And there comes the Gambino. And they've had their differences with their cousin, but they had to do something. Jimmy DeMarco's seriously hurt.
Ray Rowe here debating whether...
And DeMarco still wants to fight. Can you believe this kid? DeMarco still wants some. And we talked about guts, intestinal fortitude. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It's straight up balls. That's all it balls at Jimmy DeMarco. And
Chuck Roberts just thrown across ringside by Ray Rowe.
Come on, Ray. We know you don't like Jimmy DeMarco. We know you want to prove a point, but that's enough. That is enough.
Jimmy DeMarco needs serious medical attention right now.
Without a doubt. And this is scary. We apologize for that abrupt stoppage, but there was no choice. Jimmy DeMarco's his health, his well-being was in danger there. His career was in danger.
Without question, Ray Rowe was out to end his career.
He was.
I believe if the Gambinos wouldn't have stepped in, that would have been it for
And Jimmy's got to stay down. I love Jimmy's heart. I love his fire. He's one of the best competitors I've ever seen. But he's got to stay down. He's got to realize this fight is over. There'll be other days. He's got to calm down. The family's got to get Jimmy under control. Jimmy's an even more hell of a man, but he's got to realize it's a losing battle right now. He's got to seek medical help. He'll have to fight another day. I can't believe how far Ray Rowe took this, and I can't believe how far Jimmy DeMarco
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bobby Williams actually. Anyway, the bout was stopped by referee Nick Petulio. Being back here in Pittsburgh, it's a pleasure for me to stand in this ring alongside of you. I remember watching you at the Civic Arena, battling Hulk Hogan. You were in a cage with the Hulkster. You entertained me and all these fans for a long time. How does it feel to be back here in the Steel City?
Well, Pittsburgh was one of my favorite towns. I don't mind telling you because they're tough. You know, they're like their football team. They're hard asses, and I like people like that. You know, I do. And I mean, hey, I don't like the fancy stuff and all this. I'm the type of guy that likes to get out there and get it on. And I'll tell you what, WWE has nothing over these young men that's been wrestling tonight. You know, they've done a good job, and they give all their heart. And you know, they couldn't be doing this without you all. And one reason why I came here tonight, and one of the reasons, is because of the people. I don't do this a lot. because I'm getting older. I like to stay at home. You know what I mean? But I do like to get out. And I just happened to, Norm got in touch with me, and I'm glad he did, and I'm glad I came here to see some of the people that, when they were little, like Chuck here, they remember me. They were still pooping yellow. And that's the truth. I've done it for 25 years and played in the NFL for 4 years, and college for 4 years, and junior high for 3, and elementary school, and all I've ever done is football or wrestling. And to this day, if I had to choose between the two, I would have stuck with wrestling. But because of an injury, I had to get out. And when you have spinal cord injuries like what I had, happen to me, didn't really want to, but I did. And I thank each and every one of you all that came out here tonight. Thank you all for the many years that you've watched, not only me, but the Snookers and all the other people that you might have seen or heard about. You supported us, and I never, ever forgot what Eddie Graham told me. He said, when you go out to the ring, when I first started, he said, you go out there and you give 110%, because those people out there are hard-working people. They work for their dollar, and you give them the best show that you can, and work the hardest, and I always, always remember that. And I thank each and every one of you for all the years that you either liked me or you didn't like me. The fact is, I was doing my job. And I know I pissed some of you off, and I'm glad I did. Because I like doing that. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Wonderful, I do have to ask you, because I know you got the ring, I see it right here, the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame. How does it feel, a man that has given so much to thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions across this world, how does it feel for a guy like you now at this point in your life and your career to be honored with such Hall of Fame inductions as you have been?
Hey, I'm no different than anybody sitting out there. I get up in the morning, put my pants on the same way. I am no different than anybody else. And I can honestly say this, I've never really looked over anybody, because I'm no different. I mean, I know what I started at. I lived in the trailer park all my life. I didn't know what a house was until I finally got a house. So, I've been on both sides of that track, and I'm still on the back side of that track anymore, and I'll never change. I hunt and I fish, and I clean my own deer, I gut them, I clean my own fish, I do it all, and that's the way I am. I'm a country boy, and I always will be. That's right. Tell my wife and kids that.
And finally, Mr. Wonderful, I know so many of us in the back, and I know we talked about here a little bit early on, it would be great, the stories that you could possibly tell, and I put you on the spot, but there's got to be one story, there's got to be something that you could tell us, something in the past, some history that you could tell for these fans here in Pittsburgh.
Well, why don't some of the people just ask me something, and I'll try to answer it that way. How's that?
Hey, that sounds good to me. All right, who was your toughest? Who was your toughest opponent?
Not even close. No, not even close neither. I'd have to say I am the toughest on myself more than anything or anybody. Because you don't know, I'm tough on myself. I try to be the best. I really do. And I worked out, 6-7 days a week. I tried to be the best. And I beat myself up a lot. But there was a lot of good people, the Tito Santanas and, you sucker punched the wrong guy, brother. But there was a lot of good people out there, and it really was. It's Jimmy Snuka. Jimmy Jimmy took me under his wing when I'd only had about a year and a half under my belt, and I was just as green as can be. And I love Jimmy Snuka. I mean, that man, you know, I idolized him myself, and a lot of things that I do and the things he helped me with, I used it, you know, and that's what you do. You take bits and pieces from somebody that you like, or you like a move that they did. And I wrestled in high school, you know, and I wrestled in college, so I knew how to wrestle. So all I did is I picked a little from this and a little from that, and I used them and put them all in my repertoire. And it turned out, it ended up being good. There's several people out there that I really owe a lot to. Eddie Graham, Hiro Masuda, people like that helped me so much. And no matter what, no matter how you, and I was poor, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have nothing. And there are people out there that'll help you. And hey, you want to come up here and make me wrap it up? Huh? How about it, 4 Eyes? Would you? But anyway, he's right. He's right. I'm glad I did what I did, and thank everybody so much. Quit asking me questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the man, the Hall of Famer, 2 times over. He's Mr. Wonderful, Paul Ornthorpe.
Back to more live action at IWC No Excuses 5, a potential show-stealing encounter underway.
This is a match that I've been looking forward to ever since I saw
The following contest is set for 1 fall and a 20-minute time limit. Introducing to you first, making his way in the ring. He weighs in at 185 pounds,
Gory, the full multi-time Global Tag Team Championship, had a rough go-around at Super Indy 8. Joey Magnum Ryan and Marion Fontaine hope to get back in the winning track this evening. Internationally renowned young competitor.
And here's our opponent, making his IWC debut, coming from Tokyo, Japan, weighing at 85 kilos. Please welcome Kushida.
Kushida Yujiro on the way to the ring right now, 26 years old, a protege of longtime US-based Japanese star Yoshihiro Tajiri of ECW and WWE fame. Kushida made a name for himself in the hustle promotion in Japan, and you'll see now that he stays in the United States, now that he's under the tutelage of Scott Moore in Border City, the Can-Am Training Academy. Now we'll have the pleasure of seeing him on United States soil as well. Look for a Tajiri influence in the offensive Yujiro.
Absolutely, and I mean, while doing the research, I've never had the pleasure of seeing Kushida Yujiro live and in person before. So, you know, obviously I went in to do a little bit of research, and the resemblances between him and Tajiri are absolutely phenomenal. And that's actually a common thing in Japanese wrestling. You see a lot of great Muda proteges who really mimic, not necessarily always the look, but definitely the movements in the ring. So you see a lot of influences from the trainers, more so than you see from American wrestling.
I think it's important to note that, and you make a great point about the great Muda, and certainly we see that now on TNA television with Kiyoshi.
Yes, absolutely.
Individuals that do something like that, they're not attempting to rip off someone like the great Muda or Tajiri, and it's not a lack of originality. It's a tribute and an homage to someone who's done so much to help their own career.
And that's really indicative of a lot of wrestling, not only Japanese wrestling, also Mexican wrestling. Rey Mysterio Jr. is, we just know him now as Rey Mysterio, but he was Rey Mysterio Jr. and actually the third version of Rey Mysterio in Mexican wrestling. That's something that they consider an honor whenever they train somebody to take over, their gimmick and their style, if you will.
Seen a healthy Japanese influence in IWC in the past. A number of IWC stars going to Japan. A number of Japan stars appearing on IWC soil as well. But Yujiro has the potential to perhaps outshine them all, based on his training, based on his credentials. And certainly you can just see in the body language, you can see the focus. And not a lot known about this man outside of his athletic background, but certainly he does his talking in the ring.
Absolutely, and you can see right now that both Jason Gory and Yoshida are just measuring each other up. They're trying to get a feel for each other. This is obviously the first time these two have ever met. So, they're kind of feeling each other out right now. We know Jason Gory can fly with the best of them. Now it's just a wonder if is Yoshida going to try to ground him and work him down and punish him with that strong style, or are we going to see a high-paced, quick matchup?
Pace quickens, and certainly this is very tough to determine an advantage based on both these men's styles, but it's Jason Gory with the upper hand at the moment. Hurricane Rana
into a cartwheel by Yoshida, great counter.
Great thinking on his feet, using the momentum of Gory to his own advantage. Is Yujiro. Gory sends the Japanese star to the outside.
Gory now trying to get the fans behind him. I think we're going to see him fly here.
Gory's measuring his adversary. Out with a helo over the top. A Gory specialty. Welcome to IWC, Mr. Yujiro.
The crowd's solidly behind Gory here. And not with a lack of respect. They just don't know a lot about Yoshida. As he rolls him back into the ring, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen here as this match goes on. Gory with the upper hand right now, but for how long? Yoshida rolls out of the ring here, trying to catch his breath, maybe slow down Gory's momentum.
Gory gonna give chase to the outside. Sends Yujiro back into the ring, and Yujiro measures Gory, perhaps a bit of possum being played.
Absolutely. You can tell now as Yoshida rakes the eyes of Gory and tries to take control of this match, but
check this out. Gory lands on his feet on the apron. Yujiro tried to follow through. Springboard drop kick, nicely done, and Gory hits all the way to the outside.
Great athleticism shown there by the Japanese prodigy of Tajiri. And a little bit of mocking, apparently. A little attitude there from Tajiri's protege, Yoshida.
I think Tajiri taught him that.
I don't think.
But mind you, this floor, the protection on the floor is not to protect the wrestlers, it's to protect the floor. So there's nowhere to land that feels good down
This is not WWE, this is not TNA. We don't put padding on our floor for the girly men. These guys take a bump onto a hard gym floor, a hard cement floor, whatever the surface. The only thing over this is to keep it from getting scratched up. So Gory's feeling the effects of spilling from the top rope, that's for sure.
Gory set back into the ring. You notice the Japanese flag, a prominent part of Yujiro's attire. Certainly very happy with his upbringing. His from the top with a karate-style chop.
Yujiro now going back to the top, it looks like. Playing a little hit and run with Gory here, striking and getting out.
Check this out a second time. Measures him right on top of the head, knows exactly where to place that strike. Standing moonsault, nicely done. Cover 2 and no. Yujiro, an expert at moonsaults, has a standard version as well as a corkscrew version that he will attempt to employ in this matchup, no doubt. If he does, maybe night-night Mr. Gory.
Well, really, you have the master of the moonsault here against the master of the senton in Gory versus Yujiro.
There's not many high-flying moves Gory has not mastered, to be perfectly honest.
This is true. This is true. Gory going to the top now.
Nobody home on the crossbody.
You know, one thing that is definitely an international language is wrestling.
But cover in the ring, 2 and no.
While these two guys could probably never sit down and talk, about their match or, about one another or anything like that, inside the ring here, it seems like they've been versing each other forever because they're reading their opponent. They have the instincts that you just can't tell somebody about. Things that you learn from wrestling match after match after match.
Starting to see a little bit of Tajiri influence there, and measures Gory again with the martial arts strike. Is Yujiro cover, and Stephen Coulter again finds
5 minutes on by 5 minutes.
Actually, in Japan, it's very common for wrestlers to start training around the age of 10 to 12. Whereas here in the States, 16 would be the earliest that they would even let somebody into a training academy. 18 being the youngest you could be to even wrestle a match in the state of Pennsylvania, where we presently reside, obviously. So, an experience edge might actually go to Kushida.
Mind you, Gory, a young veteran as well. I believe he has been training since the bright young age of 16.
I believe so. He's debuted in IWC here in, 2004, I believe.
That's correct, yes. And check out the impact of Jason Gory, and a hell of a lot of momentum on his side. Drop kick, and Kushida Yujiro is in trouble. His shoulders are down near fall.
Fans still behind Gory here.
That offensive burst, that acceleration of Jason Gory really changed the tide of this matchup momentarily at least. Gory keeping the pace alive with a lung blower.
And that could be Gory's opportunity here to capitalize, putting him in place for possibly the, looks like moonsault. Second row moonsault there, that could be it.
Shoulders are down and almost a count of 3, very close, and almost a bit of
poetic justice.
Exactly, from the Yujiro playbook by Jason Gory.
Gory calling for the finish now.
Could be time for trepidation. Gory has a number of high-impact maneuvers he likes to utilize. Gets Yujiro up, but rolls through with the weight, momentum.
Gory, though, catches him with a fist to the gut there, whip into the ropes.
Handspring, into the back elbow. You see the influence from Yoshihiro Tajiri.
Absolutely do.
The Enziguri follow through as well. Has Gory Daze hit Gory right on that external occipital protuberance. The cover, shoulders are down, and the what? The external occipital protuberance.
I've been calling matches for 10 years, and that is the first time, Dombrowski, I have ever heard that.
And check this out, could be time for a buzzsaw kick. Shades of Tajiri, no, Gory able to duck underneath. Gory keeps himself alive, but now, well, I was about to call a variation of the tarantula, but now goes up with the modified chin lock and neck bites.
The only disadvantage of this move, and the same thing with what Tajiri used to end the tarantula, you can only hold it for 4 seconds, but those 4 seconds do an exorbitant amount of damage.
Takes out the vertical base. Drop kick right to the side of the head.
Stephen Coulter is in disbelief of what these two men are taking right now.
Cover, this could be, oh no, Gory escapes. And starting to see a bit of frustration here on Kushida Yujiro.
Fans trying to get behind Gory to give him a little bit of adrenaline here.
Gory, no doubt, is the favorite. He's made his way into the hearts of all these fans. This is Yujiro's IWC debut, yet another debut here tonight. And Gory traps him, drops him, back of the neck. This could be all. Jason Gory victorious.
The winner of this bout, Jason Gory.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the type of match that IWC has been accustomed to bringing you. The greatest in wrestling action, not only from here in the States, but from all over the world. And Jason Gory rose to the occasion tonight.
A matchup of international proportions is won by Jason Gory. When he is back in his winning ways, Gory still can define himself. Now that his X-Tag Championship partner is the heavyweight champion, so Gory takes a big-time step to doing that right here tonight with a victory over the internationally renowned Yujiro.
Joe, I believe this victory should put Jason Gory in line to challenge Super Hentai for that Super Indy title.
I'd be hard-pressed not to agree. Very true. Jason Gory wins, and Yujiro returns to Scott D'Amore, who returns to Japan as well in time with newfound respect for IWC's resident high flyer. And listen to the respect ring out from these fans at the Four-Time Sports Center. Certainly very appreciative of what they've just seen as well.
And a great show of respect here. A great show from Jason Gory.
And Yujiro not returning the favor.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first team number 1. They are the challengers, and they are 5 times the IWC Tag Teams, Ricky and Marshall, the Gargano brothers.
Ever since Airborne set foot in IWC. They've gotten preferential treatment, and that rose the ire of the Gambinos. The Gambinos subscribe to life on the streets, and certainly if the Gambinos ever lost a fair fight, they never complained, they never won. They knew they were beaten by the better men, but Irish Airborne have yet to prove they were the better men because they had management in their back pocket. Gambinos hope to right some wrongs in this tag team championship match. Memory. Dave Chris and Jake Chris have an international reputation, a Ring of Honor reputation, and certainly now an IWC reputation as well. But the one malfunction in their junction, they took a shortcut. They took the help from the front office to get where they are today, and no one respects and appreciates their title reign as a result.
While I might agree with you that some people are down on the Irish Airborne, one thing you can't deny, these guys didn't need the help. This is one of the most talented duos in tag team wrestling. They've won titles up and down the coast. From promotion to promotion, federation, company, any place they've had a tag team tournament, these guys have won it. And one of the things that you have to look at, Dave and Jake Chris don't care what the fans think. They only care about the competition and on how much glory, how much tag team gold they can amass in their run. And I do have to mention one thing. I'm actually surprised. Mickey looks to be in fantastic shape, and Marshall actually looking a little slim right now. The baby bull is a little smaller than usual.
Well, these men have taken this very, very seriously. Marshall certainly does look in fantastic shape right now. He's trained lean for this matchup because he knows the Irish Airborne are going to use their quickness and knows they're going to use their high-flying arsenal. Certainly, the Irish Air Raid, a big part of their offense they'll be looking to hit. And Marshall and Mickey want to keep up in the stamina department, and this matchup could go well. Very smart strategy on their part.
Absolutely. And one thing that Dave and Jake Chris do better than anybody else, they harken back to the old Midnight and Rock and Roll Express. Tag team wrestling for them, tandem offense, hidden tags, is their specialty. They work better than anybody else because they are brothers. They can almost communicate without words. They know what one another is going to do. Like right now, Jake knows he needs to get Dave away from the fans.
Well, that gentleman's certainly getting a bit uppity right now, but you know, the thing you talk about, great tag team chemistry, great cohesion, we've got it right now because we've got a couple of brother tag teams, and who could know each other better than their own brother? Absolutely.
We're finally seeing a tie-up here between Jake Chris and Mickey Gambino.
And Mickey with a takedown, and again, I find it refreshing to see we don't have any Khan out here, and we don't have any of the troops either. No Rowe, no Taylor, no Shulo. It seems that that Norm Connor's personal agenda has been taken to the back burner based on whatever decision has led to him relinquishing his power in the company at the end of the year.
And I absolutely don't say this much, but I hope the soldiers stay in the back. I hope this is a straight-up tag team match, because I hope that whether Jake and Dave Chris come out of this as tag team champions or not, you can at least put the naysayers to rest. They're either going to prove tonight beyond a shadow of a doubt that they deserve those tag team titles, or Mickey and Marshall are going to reclaim their spot on top of the tag team division, which they've set for so long in IWC.
Well, the only other attempt the Gambinos have had at dethroning Irish Airborne in recent memory, well, the past two times we'll talk about, one of those times involved their own sister, Vicky Gambino, turning her back on the Gambino brothers, and the other time, the matchup really barely officially got underway, and I believe it ended in disqualification.
Yes, it did. And that's one of the things where guys like the Irish Airborne taking shortcuts, while you might not understand it, it's just working smart. While they probably don't need to, they're just working smart, because a guarantee is better than a straight-up match, in their opinion.
And something you touched on earlier in this match, and I touched on earlier in the Ray Rowe match, is these men are more than qualified to hold our tag team championships, and in many instances do not need help to hold those championships, but they still take the low road, and that's the frustrating thing, and that's the thing that's been a giant scar, a giant black mark on their IWC career so far.
Well, that's the difference between what the fans would call a good guy and a bad guy. No matter what walk of life you take, the people who are willing to take that shortcut are usually the people who get the spoils. They're also usually the people who aren't liked very well.
And you know what? The Gambinos have always been willing to take shortcuts.
Absolutely.
But you know what? They've done it in a fight, face to face. They've done it to the man. They haven't done it in the shadows of the boardrooms and the politicizing that Irish Airborne
I will
did.
say that in recent memory, the last couple months, they have. But you cannot say that the Gambinos are altar boys. I remember that Mickey Gambino tried to make Jimmy DeMarco lay down and give him a spot in the title tournament.
I will never call the Gambinos upright citizens and lawful members of normal human society. They just don't give a damn. They like hurting people. They like carrying out hits. They like the underground mob mentality. We've seen them threaten people with tasers and cinder blocks and thumbtacks at the time here. They are not good people, but they are competitors.
They are competitors, and if this breaks down, let's be honest, both these teams can fight fire with fire. As you just saw, a power display from Marshall Gambino that has Dave Christ kind of rethinking his strategy right now. Ready to tie up again here. Drop toe hold by Dave Christ.
You see that speed advantage of Irish Airborne coming into play here against the Baby Bull. We had called the Baby Bull 280 for a number of months. In recent months, he's been up over 300. Not sure where exactly he sits right now, but certainly still, however much that is, if it's on top of you in that ring, it's going to hurt.
Well, absolutely. Actually, Marshall showed some amateur wrestling ability there. He slipped out from underneath and floated over.
Not something they like to do, but they certainly could if they intended. Side headlock by Marshall.
Shoot off there by Dave. And you're not going to match a shoulder block with Marshall Gambino.
Oh, absolutely not. Just like that. Crowd coming alive for Mickey and Marshall here. Would love to see the Gambinos make history and become unprecedented 6-time IWC Tag Team Champions.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
Jake actually hurting his brother there by trying to pull him out of the ring as Marshall yanked. A little tug of war, if you will.
Jake hurt himself as well. And Dave Christ goes to the eyes. Another one of those airborne shortcuts we've grown accustomed to. And Dave Christ gonna spot nobody home. Tag me.
Well, he took too much time pandering to the fans. The one knock you can say about Irish Airborne, yes, they've taken shortcuts.
Oh, gutbuster, great double team offense by the Gambinos.
But Dave Christ will get into it with any fan, for any reason, at any time.
I've seen it firsthand. I've been in the middle of it before. 2 and no. And Dave Christ, Jake Christ, no shortage of confidence either. And there was a shortage of distance there by Jake Christ on the drop kick. Catapult.
Right on the shoulders of
Marshall the
drop. And Mickey and Marshall shining here in the opening moments of this matchup.
The brothers Gambino in control of Mickey slingshots with a Facade on the outside.
Now what would make that complete is if we see Marshall with a little tope cajito.
I wouldn't bet the farm on it.
I don't know, I think I'd pay for the farm if I could see it.
Gambinos have to be cognizant of the count here. Certainly count out does no favors to Mickey and Marshall, and the Airborne would retain.
Yeah, victory is no good unless the belts come with it. It has to be a pinfall or submission by IWC rules. And I believe that was... Yeah, that was Dave that just tasted steel on the outside.
Right, you are. That's going to cover 2 and no.
The Irish Airborne looking a little worse for wear right now.
Well, I think I don't want to say they underestimated the Gambino. Perhaps Plan A didn't work. Now we're into Plan B.
And you see some of that tandem tag team offense I was talking about. Reminiscent of great tag teams of the past, the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express.
And a shot for good measure for Marshall the Bull as well. as you have a cover in the ring, as smart move by Dave to neutralize Marshall before trying to pin Mickey. But yeah, we've seen the Gambinos in some of the most wild situations, both in the ring and out of the ring, in IWC history. And we've proven they will not go down easy, no matter what the circumstances are. And there's an elbow by Jake, and Marshall makes the save.
Near fall there. They actually call that Irish elimination, reminiscent of the Eliminators in Total Elimination, where they bounce off the rope and sandwich the head of their opponent with 2 boots.
The cover for a near fall once again. And it's Dave Chris manipulating the official, choking Mickey, obstructed Mr. Williams' view, and gets another 2 count out of it. As Airborne, gotta believe Airborne are thrown off their game a little bit because of this North Connor's announcement of his pending retirement from promoting wrestling. I'm sure Airborne expected to have a lot of backup out here with them, and they really don't have that.
This is true, but like we've said numerous times, they really don't need it if they stick to their game plan. As you see Dave Chris pandering to the crowd again.
Well, again, they're full of themselves. They are the best team in Ohio, and the problem is they know.
Beautiful float over there. Only a 2 count, though. Saying Bobby Williams there, giving a slow count. I really didn't think it was slow. Although, who am I to say Jake's wrong? Well,
keep in mind they've had authority in their back pocket until now. Of course, they're going to think a regular count is slow.
Marshall and the fans trying to will Mickey to the corner.
Certainly much to the dismay of Jake Chris, who has solidified his spot here as one of the elite tag teams in IWC along with Dave. But certainly when you think about sexual harassment, when you think about this newfound team of Kato and Marion Fontaine,
beautiful insecurity there, that could be it. Marshall in for the save.
No matter who survives this matchup for the championship, it's not going to be easy. And a smart move by Dave right into the cover, but there was a case where the referee came back to haunt the Irish Airborne as he was manipulated in the other direction.
You also have to think, I mean, we saw a new tag team form here tonight. The Switchblade Conspiracy are now here in full force. And you have to think that while this feud with Delirious is close to over, as they are trying to get rid of it, they're going to look for tag team gold soon. And that's another force to be reckoned with in the tag team division, which is really shaping up as one of the premiers in indie wrestling.
Without a doubt. We've already seen the sick vile damage the Switchblade Conspiracy can do. And I'm not looking forward to having them as regular portions of this roster in any stretch. As Mickey Gambino now back to the vertical base, and I believe that Jake could sense the tide shifting, and again digging deep into the face and eyes.
Disrespect there as Jake Chris walks over.
A beautiful springboard into the splash. Swan-like great seamless motion by Dave Chris into the near fall. And again, these frequent tags, very synonymous with some of the great expert tandems of the past.
What that does is it actually throws your opponent off and keeps the freshness in there because they're able to get breath in between.
Great
Beautiful,
beautiful
gut buster into a neck breaker there.
And the near fall.
And Mickey Gambino is in a world of trouble right now.
Tag into Dave. Again, Mickey Gambino in the wrong part of town. Goading in Marshall, and the double team attempt was thwarted. Mickey a step quicker, and Marshall the bull ready to unload. Clothesline for Dave, clothesline for Jake. And Marshall has been unleashed, almost hitting the lights with the elevation. And Jake Crest in the waiting arms. Jake elbows free. Rapid fire elbow shots. But Marshall recovers. Look out, side slam.
Twisting side slam to that. High impact.
Could be all here, 2-0.
And Jake and Dave Chris are throwing off their game right now. They did such a beautiful job of cutting off the ring and wearing Mickey down, but Marshall's fresh as can be.
Jake with a forearm. It just woke Marshall up. Oh, check this out. Jake used the momentum of Marshall's kick to transition to an enziguri of his own. Nicely done by Chris, and Mickey interrupts the fall.
Luckily for the Gambinos, Marshall fell near Mickey. As Mickey just starting to come to from that beating he took in the first 10 minutes of this match.
And Mick with a huge spine buster. Jake Chris is down. Dave now targeting Mickey. As we got bodies all over the place, referee has lost all semblance of institutional control, and Marshall with the interruption now.
And this is just broken down now. And it's really every man for themselves. No team really having a distinct advantage right
Dave
now.
Chris with a baseball slide. Mickey able to sidestep, leaving Marshall the bull in the ring with Jake Chris. Well, wait a second. Look who's back. That's Mickey Gambino. We haven't seen her since, I believe, the month of March, the Night of Legends, where she turned on the Gambinos. And now what? That loaded purse, and Marshall just locked eyes on the betrayed family member. Oh my God. And Vicky seeing her life flash before her eyes. Jake Christ has the purse. Look out, to the head.
And that's it.
Oh, and just like at Legends, the loaded purse gonna come into play. Bobby Williams didn't see a damn thing, and Airborne just stole it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners and still IWC Tag Team Champions, the Irish Airborne.
Well, I think that'll silence the critics of the Irish Airborne as they barely, by themselves, beat the Gambino brothers.
Absolutely not. Mickey Gambino went into hiding for 4 months after betraying the family, and then came back at the right, exact, opportune moment. I don't know what investment she has in Irish Airborne, but whatever it is, it paid off. Irish Airborne may not have management helping them anymore, but they have some managerial assistance in another way.
Well, she simply came out to back her team. She's the manager of champions.
That's not her team.
It is now. When Mickey and Marshall couldn't get it done, she went on to greener pastures, Dombrowski.
Irish Airborne victorious. And you're right, Mickey Gambino has the gold once again, but she had to betray her entire family twice to do it. Dave Chris, Jake Chris, with I guess Mickey by their side now, still reigning IWC Tag Team Champion. Shot at the heavyweight crown until now on his way to the ring.
The fabulous Jon McChesney is one of those superstars who has never had really the chance to break the glass ceiling. And this, tonight, due to travel issues, is his chance. And in my opinion, McChesney throughout his career has only had one mistake in his career. And that's pandering to these people outside. If McChesney would fight for him and him alone, I think he would have tasted gold years ago.
McChesney's big mistake was pandering to Dennis Gregory.
I won't disagree with you. The War Machine was a bad idea. McChesney was talented enough to take that belt off of Gregory at any time.
Due to the injury to Gregory, McChesney scheduled Texas Deathmatch was scrapped. Due to visa issues with Ricky Reyes, he was unable to come challenge for the heavyweight championship against Shima Zion. But as a result, two unfortunate situations turned into a great one, as we're going to have a hell of a main event right now. A man who left IWC as champion because he was upset with the business practices of the front office. But with Norm Connors on his way out, turning over a new leaf and righting some wrongs apparently, this man is back, fresh from a tour of AAA in Mexico, and more brash and colorful and better than ever.
Well, I mean, you can see the disrespect from Shima Zion right off the bat. Look how he's wearing the world title. That is the most prestigious title in independent wrestling.
It is a very unique, very Shima-esque fashion statement.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Shima built himself as a male model for years here. And now he wants people to take him seriously as a heavyweight contender.
No?
I'm not denying the man's ability. He's a very talented wrestler. However, again, as we've talked about all night, a recurring theme here is who would you rather represent your company? In my opinion, fabulous Jon McChesney's been the heart and soul of IWC for years. One of those guys who, when you talk about IWC, you associate the fabulous Jon McChesney.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, set for one fall, a 60-minute time limit, and it is for the IWC Championship. And
certainly you talk about representing IWC. For my money, Shima Xion has done it better than almost anybody. Returning from Mexico at 6 o'clock this evening and immediately coming into this championship title defense. Not to mention the fact that right after this defense, almost immediately after it, Shima Xion leaves because next week he's touring Japan.
Like I said, in my previous diatribe here, I would never take anything away, talent or ability, from Shima Xion. And obviously he is now becoming world traveler and everybody is recognizing him, which he is an IWC homegrown competitor. It's just for my money, Jon McChesney has been not only worthy of that title, but lacking that title, should have had a chance at that title for years now. At least for the last year and a half.
Well, it was about a year ago when Jon McChesney told then heavyweight champion Dennis Gregory, there's one guy on the roster you haven't beaten yet, and that's me, Jon McChesney. And unfortunately for McChesney, Dennis Gregory, a month later, ended up being stripped of that championship. We had the tournament, and Shima Xion rose to prominence, and Jon McChesney really never got that opportunity that he did rightfully deserve. But tonight, that night comes. It's a night over a year in the making for Jon McChesney, and one that has really come after 6+ years of hard work in IWC. So McChesney knows how valuable this opportunity is.
Absolutely. McChesney is, we talk about Shima Xion being world travel. Let's not take anything away from Jon McChesney. McChesney's wrestled for almost every promotion on the Eastern Seaboard, including WWE. He obviously didn't fare too well against a 300-pound Samoan, who remained nameless, but he still has been looked at by every other promotion, yet chose to stick with IWC, hoping to get his shot at Gory. And tonight, if he reaches up, quits pandering to these fans, and grabs the proverbial brass ring, if you will, I think we'll see a whole new chapter in McChesney's career.
We're very well could. We followed McChesney for several months in the reemergence of the real Jon McChesney, the old Jon McChesney. McChesney that stands on his own and doesn't back down from a fight, as opposed to the War Machine Lackey and Flunky. And I think the only thing that's going to complete that return to greatness for Jon McChesney, that metamorphosis, is going to be one of our 2 singles championships. And certainly, at first we thought it might be the Super Indy Championship, but the Heavyweight Championship would do just as well. And keep in mind how McChesney was shafted out of the Super Indy Championship at Super Indy 8. He had won a seed into that tournament in that 3-way matchup with Colt Cabana and Super Hentai. I believe he won the number 2 seed. However, Dennis Gregory, out of the crowd, after he'd already quit the company, injured Jon McChesney's knee and left McChesney unable to compete in the rest of the tournament. Had to have been a heartbreaker for the Fabulous One. Absolutely.
And one of those things that you have to look at when you talk about which division do you think Jon McChesney should really take a run at. While he has the size to go Super Indy, while he has the repertoire, if you will, to go Super Indy, the heavyweight title is where Jon's heart is. Jon has faced adversity throughout his entire career. He's never been the biggest dog in the fight, just the one with the most heart. And we're seeing a fantastic exchange here, as these two are very evenly matched. Size, speed, ability. See, this is what...
Well, Shima knows that McChesney is going to out-chop Shima Xion in any situation. Shima tried to put the brakes on, didn't work. And there you see the Jon McChesney of old, the expert vertical leap, the pinpoint precision of the drop kick. And Shima Xion looking for refuge, but not getting much of it. Springboard, back into the ring.
Well, those chops from McChesney, he throws them better than anybody in the business.
Shima to the outside.
Actually, I believe back in September, we actually saw Rowe and McChesney chop each other until both were bleeding from the chest. Hamburger meat, if you will.
Shima in the front row as a result of that baseball slide. McChesney making the most of this opportunity in the early going, to say the least.
McChesney throwing Xion back into ringside now. Back over the guardrail into the front row.
And we're seeing the killer instinct of Jon McChesney. We're seeing intensity on Jon McChesney. He's not going to waste this opportunity. He's not going to waste any time.
Hard chop echoing through the Courtime Sports Center.
And if I were any of these fans, I would scatter.
We see Stephen Coulter also letting this match go. Not in the ring counting, knowing how important this world title shot is.
We need a definitive conclusion. And McChesney fires with a co-bearing. A suicide dive into the crowd, into Shima, into the floor. And that is the Jon McChesney of old. That is the Jon McChesney that captured 4 Super Indy championships.
It absolutely is. Jon McChesney risking life and limb for the only thing that matters to him right now, which is the IWC World title.
A first opportunity in 6 years for the fabulous one.
McChesney on his feet now. Pulling Shima Xion up by the hair.
And just imagine how much that took out of Shima, favoring the back heavily. You can see him wincing in pain right now. And Jon McChesney, Northern Light suplex, beautiful back brave, just could be all no.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
And McChesney pulling it all stopped. Now has to regroup here. He has Shima in a compromising position. Back suplex coming up. Shima puts the brakes on, lands on his feet. Crisscross action. Shima with some pinpoint precision of his own with a Hurricane Rana. Nicely done. Follow through elbow.
McChesney slowing the pace down there with a kick right to the knee.
Cover to end. No, McChesney and Shima continue to attempt to stay one step ahead of each other, and we have a lightning fast heavyweight championship matchup, perhaps the fastest we've ever seen so far in this match. With McChesney neutralizing Shima Xion, grounding the flyer, knows he needs another game plan. He needs more offense to take the champion down.
Absolutely. McChesney right now wrenching back on the bow and arrow, the submission here, trying to slow the adrenaline and the pace down a little bit. Float through into a full Nelson. Half slam there.
We got a cover here, 2-1. No, keep in mind, Shima Xion has overcome Rowe on a number of occasions. Shima Xion can survive pain and punishment to the utmost degree. We saw him survive the heavyweight championship tournament, 16 men in one weekend. And Shima Xion has never backed down, never quit. He's taken the championship to Mexico. And certainly with the competition, the level of Jon McChesney here, Shima Xion is in his element, but you could say the same thing for the fabulous one. And now, high risk, gonna take a chance. And McChesney crotched in a very awkward position. And Shima with the drop kick, and fabulous one hits the outside again.
Both of these men poured heart and soul out right now for the IWC Heavyweight Championship. But you can see it right now as both men struggling just to get to their feet, let alone get an advantage in this matchup.
Official is at 3. Of course, if there is a count out, Shima Xion retains the championship. But I cannot picture Jon McChesney's 6-year odyssey ending in a count out, if at all possible. Coulter's at 8. McChesney is close. Can he make it in? Shima grabs onto McChesney. That effectively breaks the count. I think Shima wants to win this thing center of the ring. But so does McChesney, and he almost did. And Shima with a reversal, shoulders down.
This with a super kick there into a float over. Serious and near fall, and there's the super kick from McChesney. That could be it.
It's the cover. This is 2.5. The champion escapes. McChesney.
The shoulders McChesney
lost to dust, countered. Shima Xion was going for everything there. A count and down into the face eraser, the hostile makeover, and it was almost a count of 3. And Shima Xion grabbing onto his newfound locks in frustration that was not all.
Shima trying to get the split audience behind us. It's half the audience is behind Shima, half is behind Facade.
Nor can you blame them. It's so tough to pick a favor here. These fans have watched both of these men's journeys to this point for many, many years. McChesney gets the feet up right between the eyes of Shima Xion. The elbow connects.
Shima now climbing up here. Looking for a top rope Budokan Rana possibly.
McChesney. Oh, wait a second. Shima's in the tree of woe. I'm having a little bit of flashbacks here to Super Indies gone by, and the McChesney matches gone by. Jon McChesney went for the low-key double stomp that low-key used on McChesney on a number of occasions. Counter into the lust to dust, from lust to dust to champion. No!
McChesney
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
somehow kicked out of that after trying to finish it and put him away, quite frankly, numerous times.
McChesney digging deep into something that he knows firsthand is very effective, but it wasn't enough to stop Shima Xion.
And if you think back, actually, that was McChesney's first title match.
Corkscrew, nobody home.
Only other title match against Loki.
The super kick connects. Shima missed the 720 splash, and that could be the opening that Jon McChesney needs. The electric chair driver coming up, but Shima counters. A roll-up. What? A pull of the tights? What? I didn't expect that, but regardless, Shima, I guess it worked. It got him a victory.
I can't fault Shima. I've said numerous times, do what you must to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout, and still the IWC champion, Shima Xion.
Well, Shima wins, but McChesney, he could feel his tights being pulled. He was telling Coulter about it a moment ago, and Jon McChesney has a gripe here. And McChesney, understandably frustrated.
Why you pull my tights? You ain't like that. I pull your tights. Did you pull?
A match of respect has taken a new tone. Ow!
And it's slapping the taste out of Shima Xion's mouth.
And again, you can't really fault McChesney for being upset here. And we got big problems coming down the ramp right now. Rowe just took out McChesney. And Rowe and Shima have history.
These two have fought numerous times over the world title. Staring down here, is Rowe going to take out Xion as well?
This could be a big time collision here. What? Whoa, whoa, wait a second. What is this about?
Shima Xion has apparently just aligned
Wait a
himself.
second. Shima spent months fighting off Rowe for the IWC name. Shima was one of the ones persecuted against by Rowe and by the front office.
Now, let me make one thing perfectly clear. It was not Norm Connors who put that bounty on Jimmy DeMarco.
What?
It was me.
What?
You know what my problem is? For years, I let each and every one of you people think that I was just like you. But the truth is, after 6 weeks in Mexico, I realized I'm nothing like you. I'm an international superstar. A wrestling star in Mexico. A supermodel extraordinaire. I'm nothing like you. Jimmy DeMarco, he is like each and every one of you. And I can't stand that. I can't stand that. Because for months, I've been getting my ass kicked. Each and every month. Rowe, Ricky Reyes, Norm Connors, everybody turns their backs on me. And what do you people do? You cheer Jimmy DeMarco. You cheer Jimmy DeMarco while I'm laying, barely standing, blood, everything. And you people would rather cheer a goofball like Jimmy DeMarco than a world-class athlete like Shima Xion.
What has come over Shima Xion?
I have to completely agree. Shima Xion is oppressing me right now.
Yeah, champ boy. Ray already took him out. And now we're going to take out McChesney.
Well, that's unfortunately true. Jimmy may never be the same again, and Jon McChesney added to that list. Overhead with a T-bone. Xion put the bounty on DeMarco. Oh no.
And here comes the rest of the troop.
Here come the chosen ones. I guess Shima's taken over where the predecessors left off. Shima's got the agenda now. And we got a ton of help coming out here. Jason Gory, Justin Idol, the Gambino. And we got a hell of a fight. It's gang warfare. And IWC No Excuses 5. It's exploded. Xion, who was on the front line for so long, the latest to turn his back. And the IWC loyalists are out here to help, and they're not done yet. We got more out here. Michael Facade, Gregory Iron, newcomers taking up the fight.
And the chosen ones here definitely outnumbered.
I'm not sure what the odds are right now, but certainly they're not in anybody's favor. This is chaos.
What the chosen ones are doing right now, though, is they are keeping everyone out of the ring as Rowe and Xion destroy, limb from limb, pick apart the fabulous Jon McChesney.
That's absolutely true. Shima once fought so valiantly for that championship, but now it's about selfishness and ego.
Rowe keeping everybody at bay as Shima continues to stomp McChesney.
This is not the Xion I knew. And watch grow up. Oh God, here goes Bolen, and Bolen's ready to kick some ass. Bolen and Rowe are hooking it up.
Two of the biggest, strongest men in IWC now going at it.
I would say the strongest. And who's going to get this stop? I guess everybody. Bolen and Rowe want a piece of each other as once again the battle lines have been drawn. And look who's not even a part of this. Xion up the rampway. Xion wants nothing to do with this physicality, and Bolen and Rowe are beating the hell out of each other.
Well, Xion has in fact put up the money for the bounty, and he's doing exactly what he should do, which is walk away, protect the title, protect himself to make sure that that world title stays with the chosen ones.
John Bolen, Rowe, this may never get stopped. And Xion on the outside is taunting Jon McChesney with the IWC Championship.
Somebody needs to call the National Guard.
We need someone got to call the law. Rowe and Bolen taking up the fight here for the IWC loyalists, for the persecuted few, against the pampered and played to chosen ones of, I guess now, Xion.
Rowe now leaving the ring, followed by the chosen ones.
Rowe and John Bolen on a collision course, and they're still not done. Bolen wants a piece of Rowe, the Airborne, Shulo, Taylor, and apparently now Xion right by their side as well. A man who fought so valiantly has turned his back on the company after one tour of Mexico and a bit of a big head. We'll see you next time on IWC DVD, ladies and gentlemen, as once again, the factions have been chosen, the battle lines have been drawn, and the war only continues to escalate.
And for Joe Dombrowski and DH Bruiser, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.